I want to welcome everyone to this three-part series. I'm going to spotlight my video. Everybody, I'm going to ask if you cannot show your video until we get to Q&A, because it will be on the recording. Okay, here we go. So, welcome everyone. I am so freaking excited about tonight. We were just doing a roll call and finding out where everyone is from. We have folks from New Jersey, from Vegas, from Atlanta, from Indianapolis, from Australia. We have folks from all over the place, Europe, the UK. I love the UK. I could go move to London anytime, any day. So I love London. I love London. I have to just say that. So we have folks from everywhere. In Maryland, okay, it's low. Let me come back in. Okay, yeah, Trinace, check your volume because I think everyone else can hear me. And I am so excited. Yes, yes, yes. Thank you everyone for joining. We had almost 200 people sign up for this session. I am so excited. So hopefully those that are joining will come on and join, because otherwise I think I only can fit up to 100 and a little bit more than 100 folks on the session tonight. So we will see how it goes, ladies. So I am going to just pull up my presentation. Y'all know I love my presentations. I am so excited about all of you all being on this session tonight. I am super pumped up. I am hoping that I get to meet most of you in Virginia Beach, Virginia. So I am really hoping that I get to meet you all this year. So I can't wait until the retreat. I'm going to share a little bit about that as we go along in the session. We still got some people. I called my friend to remind her. Awesome, Trinace, thank you. Help everyone to meet their princess. Yes, Megan. Yes, we like Megan. Yes, yes, yes. Megan was a good example. Awesome. She is. Maybe we'll chat about her a little bit tonight, because I did write a blog about it. So if you didn't read it, please go to my blog, CamilleSheppard.com/blog, so you can read it. Feel free to keep chatting it up in the chat room. I'm going to disappear for a moment from the chat room because I am going to start the presentation. I want to be respectful of everyone's time. So just give me a moment to share my presentation and we will get started, ladies. I get so pumped up that I forget we need to get started. Here we go. Let me find my presentation. Ha! Here we go. Here we go. It's right here, ladies. It is right here. Yes, this is what we came for. How to stop dating the wrong men. Ladies, I'm going to show you throughout this three-part series. So tonight is the first part of 3 series. So tonight is part 1. Tomorrow night at 8 o'clock, the same time, will be part 2. And on Tuesday, we have a little time shift. So I'll send you an email reminder out. And it's going to be at 7 o'clock. And the reason is because I do teach class. I usually teach classes on Monday and Tuesday. But Monday is one of my monthly classes. So we don't have class this week. So I can have this session. And then Tuesday, I have a year or 9 months long. This year I changed my year-long program to 9 months so that I can give everyone 3 months off, including me. And so I do teach that class at 8 o'clock. So we will have to meet at 7, and I will probably push your class just a little bit, maybe to 8:30, to give you all just a little bit of time for Q&A at the end of the session. So I want to welcome you all. I want to welcome you to this 3-part master class. I'm so freaking excited. So this is how to stop dating the wrong man and 5 steps to attract your Mr. Right, right? Because that's what we all want to do. I was hearing comments, and I believe me, I already did my sound check. So tonight we're going to be talking about identifying your blind spots. And as a reminder, this is session 1. And I don't remember if I stepped away before I said it, but please do 2 things for me, ladies. And you're really doing it for yourself. because I care. I don't teach fluff and stuff. I give you the real deal all the time. Every time you're in my community, you are going to walk away with something. So here's the number one. Please, please, please make sure you have a notebook and a pen to write your notes, right? You might as well just go out and buy a Camille Healthy Love Coach journal, right? Get Mr. Right journal, because whenever you come into my community, you're going to learn a ton. And if you get a journal and keep it, you will accumulate lots of juicy notes, because some of you are not in a relationship right now. And then when you get into a relationship, you can go back and review those notes. So I am going to encourage you, those who are active participant in my community, please get a journal. Okay. Number two, please do not multitask. It may be tempting to go on Instagram and to go on Facebook. You know, the only thing, if you do go out there to social media, why don't you go out there and post a link to this event, not the Zoom link. Post the sign up link, the one that you use to sign up, so that they can also sign up and get all of this juicy goodness that I'm about to give you, because it is going to be yum-alicious. Yum-alicious. Okay, my tongue didn't act right. Okay, but that's okay. So I want to thank you all for taking the time out on your Sunday evening so that we can talk about this topic, how to stop dating wrong men. Really, it's an epidemic, ladies. There's a lot of women out there dating the wrong men. It's a really, really big problem. So if I get away from my slides and get off topic a little bit because I want to go deep, please give me that permission to do that. I know I'm supposed to teach you 5 steps, but I have so much that I want to share with you. And I really want you to create the space for me to give that to you. So please create that space. Please don't multitask. If you want to post on my timeline or tweet something out about the class, feel free to do that. If there's just a saying that resonates with you, please do that, because you know, I get excited about this topic, but this is a serious topic about stop dating the wrong men. People are getting hurt. I look at Kate Spade this week. She committed suicide, and from what I understand, right, just from the media, don't know anyone in her family, so I just have the media stuff like most of you. You know, her husband asked her for a divorce, you know, and for her, you know, I guess that was the last straw for her, and she ended up killing herself because she didn't want to live without him. The sad part is that, one, there was no work. I don't know how much work they put into trying to reconcile their relationship or giving him space or her space to see where it could lead to, right? And then 2, what makes it so sad is that she had a daughter. And although Kate is relieved from her pain right now, we still have her daughter who is going to grow up thinking that her mom didn't love her enough to stay around. She loved daddy more than she loved me. So that's what I look at as a healthy love coach is, oh my gosh, what about the daughter? And I just hope that the family is taking her for immediate therapy, counseling, coaching, so that she can get the support that she needs, because she lost her mother, and she lost her mother because her mom and dad broke up, right? But this is a lot of what, I'm going to go back for a second because I don't want you focusing on that screen. This is a lot of what is going on in the world today, right? This is why a lot of you are here. This is why I'm here, right? My mom and dad were separated when I was about 2 years old. Right? And get this. So my sister was only just born. So my mom and dad were separated all their life. They're both dead now. All right. They both passed on. But they were never together, you know? And so I had to grow up in that environment where my parents were not together. Right. And I watched my mom grow old, you know, being in love with my dad, and my dad getting a divorce from my mom never able to handle it. She actually kind of lost some of her senses, and she was very mentally ill and behind it. So she had a lot of depression, a lot of schizophrenia, paranoia because of it. And then my mom jumped out of a window one time because of it. And she just never could accept that my dad was divorcing her. My mom actually died with a broken heart. And so I can definitely relate to the situation with Kate Spade. And it is very hard to live with someone who is pining and in love after this one person for all of their life, especially when it's their husband, right? So many of you are here because you are falling in love with men that aren't even your husbands yet, right? And you're falling in love and getting attached, and then he is, like some of you said, taking your money. You find out that he's married, he's cheating on you, he's ghosting you, he's breadcrumbing you, he is just doing all sorts of things, to you, right? But we're going to talk about some of that tonight. We're going to really talk about what could we do as women, as a community of women, to stop dating the wrong type of men. Men have flipped the game, ladies. Men are becoming more educated and they're becoming more smart. They are reading more of my type of books than women are. Women are not even reading the books anymore. Right? They're not studying. They're not signing up for the coach. I have more guys reaching out to me to get coaching on how to date women and what to look for than I have women signing up sometimes. And I have to say that because men are up in their game. And this is the sad part, that women are not up in their game at the same level because they feel that they have something that men want. And here's the reality, ladies. I'm going to stop sharing for one moment. Here's the reality, ladies, is that, men are really up on game. Men know how to date in the modern age. Men know how to socially and emotionally get you hooked in. And then they know how to string you along so you'll be okay with the process. And it happens so slowly, like drifting. You don't even know that you're caught up until you're deeply, deeply, deeply caught up. Okay. And that's what I'm finding. And then what's happening is that you're waiting until you get so broken and hurt and you can't even live and breathe and feel when he leaves you or when he goes and marries someone else. And ladies, I want to stop this epidemic before it continues to get worse and we continue to get hurt. And I see this all the time, every day. Men are up on the game and women are not up on the game. So I really want to educate you, ladies. Dating is not always about the man. It's about you. All right, so you're going to hear me tonight talk a lot about you. You might say, I'm going to be talking about men, but I am going to be talking about you, because it's how are we allowing him to play the games on us, to trap us and trick us and get us into these so-called relationships, right? We're getting connected, we're getting attached, we're having sex with him, we're giving him our money, and guess what? He hasn't even given the relationship a label. He hasn't even told us that you are my girlfriend. I want to introduce you to my family and friends. I want to take you to my company picnic or cookout, right? He hasn't even said that to you. He hasn't even given it a label, right? My sister was telling me that she was in a restaurant the other day and she overheard this girl. She was out on a date with this guy and she was saying to him, well, tell me what is our relationship? What are we to each other? Because I'm doing girlfriend things. As a matter of fact, I'm doing wife things. However, I don't feel like you're reciprocating. I don't feel like you are appreciating all that I'm doing. And I don't feel like our relationship is heading in that direction, because you continue to say that it's going to change and it's going to grow, but we continue to spin in the same spot. And ladies, I want you to never allow that to happen to you again. Okay, so that's what we're going to be talking about. And this is going to be done in 3 parts. So please attend all 3 parts. I want to tell you a little bit. I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself. How did I get here? I'm going to talk to you a little bit about a couple of my clients. And then I'm going to also give you what you came for, right? So it's all going to be weaved in. So it's going to be a good session. And then at the end, I'm going to allow you to do Q&A. I have some My process works for a reason, ladies. I'm going to talk to you about two ladies in just a minute, but my process really works. A lot of people say that their process works, but I want to tell you, if they don't have proof, real proof that it works, you don't know that it really works, ladies. So I want you, when people are talking about their process works, I want you to determine if it really works. And so I'm super excited to be here because I felt your energy and your support. I have read every single one of your notes when you told me what is your dating challenge. Believe me, I have read every single one. Some of you want to just simply know where to meet men. Some of you are over 50 and over 60 and you want to know how to meet a guy, or and where to meet guys, right? Some of you, as was mentioning in your chat, you want to know how to meet a guy that's not going to take your money or just want sex, right? Most guys just want sex. Most guys, they go out on 1 or 2 or 3 dates and then you can't get past the second or third date, right? So I've heard you ask me for so much information, and I'm so excited because I'm going to touch on them. And if I don't touch on your specific question, please don't be shy. Please ask your question at the end of the session or when the time is appropriate. A closed hand doesn't get fed. This is not the time to be shy, to hide in the closet, and to pretend that your life is okay and you don't need any information. This is the time to ask a question because I've dedicated this time to answer your questions. So I've read all your emails and I'm super excited about all the women here. You know who I am. But for some of you who are just meeting me, okay, please know that I'm the author of Successful Women Date Differently, Secrets to Attracting the Love That You Deserve. You can probably see the book behind me. I'm the founder of Get Mr. Right University. I'm also the founder of the Love Breakthrough Summit, which comes out every January, every year, which is a tele-summit or video summit where I gather all coaches, about 20 coaches from around the world, and we pour into you together. And then I'm also the founder of the Love Rejuvenation Retreat. And what we do in my organization is we serve women all around the world. As you heard, there were women from Australia, from UK, and I have people in my program from Mexico and Canada, and we just serve women in Hawaii, all over the world. And I'm just super excited to have women pouring into my community to get this information. And what I really help women do is attract the love that they want, right? Because most women can attract a man, right? We can attract a man. We are a woman, but attracting the love that you want is the key. So I teach women how to attract the love that they want, right? You still may attract some undesirables and you need to be able to recognize that. But I want to more importantly help you keep the love that you deserve with a high quality man, right? With a grown man, a man who's going to cherish you and pursue you and make you feel like a queen, right? And so I am a certified healthy love coach. I am a relationship and dating expert. As I just mentioned, the organizations that I founded. And I help women figure out what's holding them back from attracting a man and why don't they meet men? And when they meet men, how come it's stickable, So I'm really on a mission to help 1 million women. I really want to help women. I think the number is high, but I don't think that it's impossible. And I see the possibility in helping more and more women, and you women are proof of it. And so if you can help me help others. Again, when I look at Anthony Bourdain and Kate Spade, and I look at even Prince and Michael Jackson, who were trying to relieve themselves of pain or depression or whatever was going on with them, or Whitney Houston, and you end up taking an overdose because you're really, really in so much pain because crap is not right. Right? Because we're living life and sometimes things are just not working out with the guy that we're with the job that we're in, with our children, or whatever our situation is, or with our parents, right? And so sometimes we can get into sticky situation. And what we have in my organization is kind of a no woman left behind. So please, if you know a woman that needs help, share this with her. Let her know about me, because no one should have to suffer alone. This, again, is what happened to Kate Spade, right, and Anthony Bourdain. And although they may have had tons of people around them, they didn't have anyone who really cared or really connected or really knew what was going on that could help perhaps with an intervention. So I'm asking you to really help your sisters. I've been featured on lots of platforms, right? So here's a few of them. And through Get Mr. Right University, again, I've helped, this says hundreds, but it's thousands. So the slide needs to be updated. Single, smart, spiritual women really who have tried everything to attract a man, right? Even getting other coaches, right? I get so many women that come from other coaches. No shade to any coaches. I just know that I know what I'm doing, and I just know what's going on out there, right? But I've helped them go from a feeling of hopelessness and frustration to giving up on love, and some of them life, to feeling empowered and able to attract men, more men. I help some women understand how to learn how to do the multiple dating thing, right? That's a thing, ladies. That's a thing. It's not just for guys, right? And so maybe I'll talk about that a little bit, not tonight, but I will talk about it, right? And so the whole key is that you have to be aligned with your core value and your purpose. So my intention, ladies, is just purely authentic. All I'm here to do is help you create a breakthrough. I don't care if you create just a little aha moment. I want you to create some shift tonight. Okay, I really do. And I'm hoping that this series will help you look at relationships and love in a different way. I'm hoping that it will help you date differently. That's what my book is about. I know that many of you are successful, powerful women, right? And I want you to learn how to date differently. It's time to change things. I think it was Einstein that says if you keep doing the same thing over and over again, you are going to continue to get the same results. Don't you want different results? Don't you want radical results? Don't you want a husband? Well, it's time to do something different. It's time to take the necessary actions that you need to take control of your particular circumstances and situations so that you can make your romantic life a million times better. So that's what we're here to help you do. Create this shift so you can attract the love that you deserve. And I want to always say thank you. I don't take it lightly that you're joining me tonight in my community. I don't take it lightly that you open all of my emails and you follow me on social media. I was at an event a couple of weeks ago in DC, just getting edified myself at a women's empowerment event. And it was the one that I posted the pictures with Karen from the Housewives of Potomac, Karen Huger, right? So a lot of people were coming up to me. You know, they said, "Oh, I thought you would have a booth here." Well, I had just found out about the event about 3 days before, so there wasn't enough time, and I'm not into rushing just because. So, so perhaps when they have another event, I will probably participate. So I'm diving right in, ladies. So I hope you're ready. Again, make sure your pen has some ink. Make sure you have some paper. Turn down your TVs. Get off of social media. It can wait, ladies. That's what's wrong with us today is that we don't know how to be present. I'm going to tell you that that's one of the biggest things. A lot of you have told me that you also wanted to learn how to be more in your feminine, learn how to trust, learn how to receive love. Well, when you use words like that, ladies, that's telling me that you're looking to be more in your feminine, right? And to be in your feminine, one of the first steps is stop doing too much and learn to be present. That's a simple formula. Whether you're present on your dates, present in your class, present with yourself, enjoying your walk, learn to be present. Okay, so get rid of all the other stuff and let's focus. Okay, so we're going to talk about what's your ish. So I love this story. I can't even tell you her whole story right now because we have to wait for it to unfold. But Jamie, some of you who went to the retreat last year, you met Jamie. She was at the retreat, beautiful woman. She shared her story. She has done a lot of work on herself. And this is a person that I'm so proud to know her professionally and personally. And I can actually even say that she's my friend, almost like a daughter to me, right? She's such an amazing woman. Those who met her know that she is a powerful entrepreneur. She owns a trucking company, so she has many trucks, and she owns nursing homes. Like, did you hear the S's after that? So that means more than one, ladies. So she's a very, very well-established woman. I'm so proud of her. She's a nurse by trade, and she has done so much work to try to figure out what was her love blocks. those who were at the retreat. You even saw her, one of the guys that she was interested in was in dating was at the retreat. He was on the Q&A panel, right? Talking and answering questions, right? But she's done so much work after that retreat. She realized that that guy was not the guy for her. Right? Because that's how awakened she was at the retreat. That's how much work she did at the retreat. She came there with a guy. She's like, this is not my dude, right? Literally 30 days after the retreat is every year in October, she started dating this gentleman here in Niles. And very shortly after that, he proposed to her. And they're actually married. So I am so freaking excited about her because she's done a lot of inner work. She didn't know why she kept attracting guys, and she's so powerful, she's so rich, she has so much going on for herself, but she kept attracting the wrong kind of dudes. She kept attracting guys that were, even the guy that she thought she was in love with, he was not being faithful to her. But what happened is while we were doing our work and we were talking and we were doing programs like I'm doing tonight at the retreat, she was able to pick up on the signs and realize that something was going on with this relationship she was in. Although if you were at the retreat, you know that this guy bought her flowers to the retreat. He bought her jewelry, I think it was a bracelet, very expensive bracelet to the retreat, right? He was trying to shower her with all of these gifts, but he was not really doing what he was supposed to do as a man. And she had to release that relationship. And that made room for her prince and her husband that she's now with. So I'm super excited. And then Dana, she was also at the retreat, right? So Dana, I always love Dana's story because she's also a nurse by trade, right? I have a lot of people, psychologists, nurses, all kinds of entrepreneur, all kinds of professions in the program, right? And so Dana also, she had been working with me for more than a year, actually, because she'd really been looking for her Mr. Right. And Dana was dating guys and she was dating guys. And, you know, what happens when people come into my program sometimes, my work is so powerful. Like after this session, you're going to think, I got it, but you don't have everything. And so Dana went off and she started dating and she missed a few classes, and then something happened with that relationship and then she's back in class and she's trying to work to catch up, and then she gets it again, and then she goes out dating, meets a guy, and then she's back again because she's missed class and now she's trying to catch up. So I love Dana's story because she's so magnetic. She's able to always attract a guy with the information that I taught her, right? But what was happening was still the selection process, still not knowing when to let go and recognize the signs that you're dating the wrong type of man. The same thing Jamie had to do. She had to realize she was dating the wrong type of man. And so Dana also, when she released that last relationship, right, when she came to the retreat, after the retreat, within 30 days, bam, she met Russell, and Russell proposed to her within 30 days. Dana initially said no. She told him no because it was too soon. I only knew you 30 days. Well, they kept dating for a little bit longer. I think 3 months later or so, or maybe 4 months, he again proposed again, and she said yes. Right? He bought the engagement ring within 30 days of knowing her. This is how powerful the retreat is. This is how powerful my program is because women become instantly magnetic, and they're able, and when you meet a good man, when you meet a highly valued man who's a grown man who knows how to cherish a woman, he doesn't let you go. Both of these women got proposal within 30 days of the retreat. So that's the thing I want you to realize. And I want you to just think about, why did they attract their man, right? Why did they attract and get engaged to their Mr. Right only within 30 days of the retreat? And these are just 2 examples I'm sharing with you tonight, ladies. There are more, but I'm just sharing these 2 with you tonight. And like I said, it's because they did their work. They were in my program and they came to the retreat, and here's activities. We did a kind of a Get Married to Me, and we did some mirror work, and we did a lot of different exercises. So you see them with crowns. I gave everyone these little tiaras to wear during this exercise. And then you see Dana also here. She's doing an activity that we went to an adventure park, and it helps you do a lot of trust and, develop a lot of trust. Open your heart, face your fears, because that's what the retreat is all about, is to help you bust through these limited beliefs so that when you leave the retreat, men will be saying, wow, what's wrong with you? Dana, as a matter of fact, she got a promotion a couple of times. So she leveled up really good financially as well, all because her energy shifted from coming to the retreat. So I want to invite you to do your work too. And that's exactly what this session is all about, is doing your individual work. Again, this is an image of them doing some mirror activity at the retreat, right? And so love and relationships, they can really be our greatest joy or our greatest pain. Right? They really can, ladies. They can bring us so much happiness, but they can bring us so much pain. So what we want to focus on tonight is why do we continue falling into the same cycle of picking the wrong men over and over and over again, right? And how did Jamie and Dana stop, right? As I mentioned, they did their work. They worked with me, and like I said, I have a threefold process. 1, you work with me. 2, you take one of my programs, and 3, you come to the retreat. That is the 3-step process, ladies, that's really going to help you get a man. So no matter what I say tonight, that's what you ultimately need. So one of the things you want to know is that the retreat is coming up October 3rd through the 7th. We only have 24 spots total. We only have, I think, we have about 19 spots left. So you want to make sure that you snag one of those spots. And the retreat website is loverejuvenationretreat.com. And the retreat is $1,750, and we'll talk about what's included in that retreat. But it's all inclusive. Your breakfast, lunch, your dinner, everything is included. Your spa, all of your activities that we're going to do, everything is included. You're going to do a boudoir session. It's just so much. We're going to even be doing a twerk class, ladies. So I haven't publicized that too much because I don't want the world to know what we're doing inside. But most women that I coach, I find that they really don't feel worthy. I find that they lack confidence. They allow themselves to get mistreated, right? Especially by men or people in their lives, right? They have masculine energy, which ends up meaning you have a wall or a block up because you haven't dealt with some trauma from your past. So sometimes you can get triggered and angry very easily and kind of go off, right? Go postal, or feel like busting the windows out of somebody's car or something like that, right? So maybe you've been abandoned, right? We talked about parents getting divorced, right? So you've been abandoned, right? Or maybe one of your parents left, or maybe they were in jail on drugs, right? You could have been emotionally abandoned, right? Or maybe you were physically or emotionally abused or bullied, right? And you are struggling to let go of that past pain, right? So again, why are beautiful, successful, smart women continuing to select the wrong type of men over and over again, right? And even if, what I'm finding out, he tries to break up with most of you, you throw yourself at him and you desperately try to get him back. More sex, more money, more anything that he wants just to keep him. Please, please, please. Tell me what I need to do to change, because you just want to keep this guy in your life. Right? So we are doing anything to really hold on to them. Sometimes we emotionally seduce him, or we try to guilt him. Sometimes we get pregnant, right? I got pregnant when I was 19, right? Because I was in love with this man. I wanted to marry him, right? Didn't work out because he ended up being an abusive drug addict person. He took all these pills. He beat me when he got high, right? He was very abusive. He was a cheater. He was a liar, right? He took a lot of my money, right? And he gave all of his money away, right? He didn't bring his money home to the house. We did end up getting married, but he didn't bring his money home, right? So we end up spending all our time and resources on a man, even though he doesn't give us a promise of commitment. Ladies, what I'm finding that you do is you're going out on a date and a guy could say, yeah, I want to get married. And you think he's saying he wants to get married to you. He didn't say that. He just said he wants to get married and have kids someday, right? And just because you think he's your ideal guy, you start imagining he's talking about you because he's with you. Right? That's just game, ladies. So there's a couple of things I'm going to sprinkle throughout here. So that's just game that he's playing on you, right? So the other thing is that you get committed to a guy that hasn't gotten committed to you. He didn't say he was committed, but now you're committed, you're exclusive, devoted, and you're giving him your sex, and he's the only one you're seeing. In the meantime, he's out there doing all kinds of stuff, right? And you're settling for his breadcrumbs, right? And most of the time, because you're afraid of being alone, and if you're married, you're staying because of the children, or sometimes we stay for professional reasons, right? Because we can't afford to live alone, or we stay because of the embarrassment from our family or friends, or maybe our religious organization, right? So why have some women really, really gotten this and they learned the art of attracting and keeping their Mr. Right, while others still struggle to figure out how to position themselves to attract an amazing relationship that they deserve, right? We're going to go deeper now, ladies. So, and before we go deeper, I want you to really, really give yourself permission to shift and understand attraction and dating and relationships. And I'm going to really go deeper with you on that. And I might talk about some things that you haven't heard before. So I want you to give yourself permission. If you're writing, I want you to write down the word permission across the top of your page. If you're in the chat, you can type the word permission, something to make it stick in your mind. I want you to give yourself permission to adjust the lens that you're looking out of. We grow up with lenses, right? We see life the way our parents or our community has seen it, right? We see things based on how our family and our friends and our mother and father has seen things. But what I want you to do tonight, ladies, is open up your heart and realize that the key to opening up your heart and really attracting men is activating your femininity. So I've given you a lot of keys along the way. So please take some notes and keep track of that. But when you activate your femininity, when you allow yourself to open up your heart, when you give yourself permission to trust something different, try something new, you are training your mind to receive love and new information. You're training your mind to see things in a different way, right? And when you do this, not only do you train yourself to be open to new ideas and new possibilities, write that word, possibilities, new possibilities, because nothing is impossible. Everything, including attracting the love you deserve, is very possible. But it all starts with receiving, ladies. You have to train yourself to receive information differently than the way you have. What we do is we don't trust. Oh, I'm not going to try it. Oh, no, I can't go. Oh, my girlfriend is not going. Oh, I'm not going to sign up. Oh, I don't want nobody to know. Oh, I'm not going to do this. I'm not going. You think Jamie and Dana are ashamed that they went to the retreat? They got a ring on their finger. They're super happy. So if someone has the information you need to help you get what you want, ladies, you have to shift your mindset to train yourself to go after it. I wouldn't be sitting here talking to you if I didn't do that myself, right? I had to trust somebody. I had to open up my mindset and my heart to receive information because I wanted to teach you everything that I knew. And I wanted to teach you in an efficient way. And that caused me to have to go to a retreat, to hire a coach, and to work with a mentor so I can get what I want. And that was to share all of this information that I was holding on to with you ladies. And I wouldn't be here tonight if it wasn't the case. And you won't be in the arms of your man. Dana wouldn't be with her man. Jamie, well, she's married already. Right? She's married already. It's not even a year from the retreat, right? They wouldn't be there if they didn't come to the retreat and do their work and trust and open up their heart. So the first step we're going to talk about tonight, which was the title of tonight's session, is identifying your blind spots. We all have these psychological blind spots. If you're taking notes or in the chat, type blind spot, because we all have a blind spot. So what is a blind spot, right? We know what it is when we're driving, right? When we're driving in a car, we can't see the car coming on the side of us, depending on where he is. If he's in our blind spot, we can't see him. I know sometimes I'm driving and a car is like creeping up and I'm like, oh, I didn't see that car coming. And I almost turned to the next lane. I could have caused an accident because he was in my blind spot. And that's what happens when you have a blind spot. You can have unpredictable results. So a blind spot is an aspect of our psyche and our personality, habits or behaviors that it might be obvious to others, right? But it's not obvious to ourselves, right? So I might be able to see your blind spot. And for most women, after talking to you for 10 to 15 minutes, maybe less sometimes, I immediately know what your blind spot is, right? Sometimes your friends will say, girl, I could have told you that. Right? You're saying, well, why didn't you tell me? Right? Because they could see it, although you couldn't. Right? And sometimes we can't see our blind spots because of our experience, our past, our luggage, our emotional baggage, and all of that stuff. It creates limited beliefs and it fogs our view because we have a block in that space and we won't look at it, right? We won't ever stop and think about ourselves and what we're doing and what we're blocked up about, right? So we end up having these biases that really govern our attitude and it really distorts our view and it really blinds us. That's why it's called a blind spot, because you cannot see it, ladies. And so I'm going to help you see it. And if you still can't see it, I will help you see it even more. Right? We all have them. There's nothing to be embarrassed about, right? And that's the first thing I want you to get rid of is the idea of shame, blame, and guilt. Society has caused us to hide and have shame, blame, and guilt. Our families have told us, don't tell anything that's going on in our house. You better not tell. It's family business. It's private. Don't share that information, right? And so we ended up doing that, right? And so now we're ashamed to talk about it, ladies. Shame is going to get you no place, right? It's causing people to commit suicide. It's causing people to be single forever. It's causing people to be mentally ill and depressed. I want to help you out of that space. And I want to help you attract the love and the life that you really deserve, right? And so, but our blind spot could be like the wind, right? We might feel something, but we can't really see it, right? We can't really tell what's going on, although we know the effects. Oh my God, this thing keeps happening. These guys keep cheating on me. Oh, they keep leaving me. They keep taking my money. They keep doing this, ladies. People that come into my community never get played again. And I mean never get played again. Ever, ever, ever. So this is going to be the end of that. So that's one thing you don't have to worry about. But why does it happen to you, right? See, the imprint that the wind leaves, your blind spot, it causes you, like I said, to have these repetitive negative experiences with men. Right? Because men can identify, they can pick you off. You got like this blinking light, or you're leaking is what I like to say. They can see that you're leaking all of this emotional baggage and they can just see, oh my God, she's a prime victim. She doesn't have confidence. She doesn't have high self-esteem. She doesn't have self-love. She doesn't have any value. She's desperate. She's lonely. She wants to have a baby really quick. She's desperate to get married. He can see that you're leaking all of this stuff and you are a prime target. Right? So when we know that someone runs a scam on us, it's the same thing, ladies. You're prime target, right? When somebody calls up and says, hey, you just won the lottery, right? You're like, how'd you get my number? What's going on? I didn't play the lottery, blah, 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 blah. But yet they're telling you you won the clearinghouse sweepstakes, right? You got picked, right? And it's like, well, how did that happen, right? So your senses are up. But when it comes to men, we don't recognize it, right? We end up just throwing it off on men are all the same, right? Or we believe there's no men in my area, or all the good ones are taken, or I'm not worthy of love, or I'm never going to get a good husband or wife. My mom didn't have one, or whatever, right? So we end up really living in denial and fear. And that blocks us. And it all goes back to that shame, blame, and guilt from our emotional baggage or from our parents conditioning us not to share our information, ladies. And if you don't share anything, how do you get help? Nobody knows how to help you. Nobody knows what to say. You end up carrying around this fear, this denial, this blame, shame, and guilt to your grave. And let me tell you, women are becoming depressed. They're becoming sad because they don't know what to do. Right? So I'm here to help you never get played by a guy again, and to learn how to stop dating those guys who are playing you, running game on you, and learn how to attract the love that you deserve. I want you to understand your blind spots and what's blocking you. And this can be rough because that means you have to look at yourself and you have to admit, there's something there. I don't like what I see. Okay, let me give you an example, right? So I used to be very angry and bitter because I was raped. I was raped by 7 different people multiple times. And if you've heard me speak before, you know I will tell you one of them was a woman, right? And so I was angry. I was fighting and arguing. I had an attitude, and I was triggered with everybody. Even at work, and I have it's not like I'm not educated. I have an associate's, a bachelor's, an MBA, a PhD, coaching certification, project management certification, you name it, green belt certification. I got all of this stuff, right? But I was getting triggered. So much so, a girl said to me, she said something in the office, and I told her she better check herself before I check her, right? In the office, in a professional environment, I was in my 20s, but I was not playing, right? I was angry and I was mad, and you were not going to blah, 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 So I had to look at me, what was going on. And when I found out what was in my blind spot, it was because I was raped. It was because I watched my dad beat my mom. It was because I watched my mom jump out of a window because she was mentally ill. It was because my mom was mentally ill in the hospital, and while she was or wasn't with us, or when she was with us, I was being molested and raped. It was because I told my mom and my aunt I was being raped by some of my relatives, and they didn't believe me. So I had reason to be angry. I didn't know that I had a problem. I didn't even know, because my mother told me that she didn't pay any attention to the fact that I was raped, so I didn't even think anything was wrong with it. But I kept feeling some kind of way, right? So most people really, they really refuse to look at themselves, right? I didn't get to where I am for no reason. Right? I made good money in the corporate world, right? I made good money in my business. I have a good relationship. You don't get to do those things without doing some work on yourself. And you cannot get there, ladies, in life, in your business, in your profession, your career, your family, or in a relationship with a man without looking at yourself and doing some work. Denial is really the inability to perceive the information, ability to really perceive the information that's going on within you, right? You automatically refuse to accept that there's anything going on. I challenge you, ladies, to say, ask yourself, write on your paper, what am I in denial about, right? What am I denying? What don't I want to see? What don't I want anybody in the world to know, right? And then fear, right? Because not only are we in denial, we live in fear. And this is, again, a feeling that's induced because we perceive a threat or a danger. And nowadays, it's the fear of how people look at us, right? We're afraid of what people are going to think about us. Who the heck cares? Nobody's thinking about you. Really. No, if somebody was thinking about Kate Spade, she wouldn't be dead, right? Somebody cared about Anthony Bourdain, he wouldn't have been so exhausted that he's decided to take his life if somebody cared. People don't really care. You know what they care about? They want to just see if what you're wearing, where you're going, what you're eating. Who cares? I don't even post on social media what me and my husband do. We go out to date night. We go out to concerts. We were just out at the pool. We were just out at the pool all afternoon. We didn't post one picture because I don't care if people know what I'm doing or not. I really don't care if people know because they are not contributing to my life. If I was dying, they would not be here. If I was homeless, they would not be here. If I was hungry, they would not be buying me any food. So why are we spending so much time living in fear about what other people think? Stop having fear of other people. Social media has caused us to be in fear, a fear of not being popular, fear of not being accepted. You won't be accepted anyway because people can tell something is wrong. Right? Whether they say it to you or not, men can tell something is wrong. That's why they're taking advantage of you because they can tell. You don't believe me? Ask one of my clients. She went on a date, first date with a guy, and the first thing he said to her is, "What happened to you in your childhood? Did you have some kind of childhood trauma?" She was totally freaked out. Because men know, they already know, they inbox me all the time and say, "Camille, these women have so much emotional trauma they're not dealing with and they don't realize that we can take advantage of them." Men are telling me that, right? So what's blocking you from taking the action you need to do to get rid of the denial, the fear in your love blocks, your blind spots? What's blocking you from doing that, right? Again, it goes back to our limited beliefs and what we were taught as children, right? We have these belief systems from when we were a child, right? And then when we moved through life, we carried our emotional luggage with us, right? From experience and relationship to job, to experience to relationship and job, to friendships, over and over and over again. Right? We just continue to do this. So we never stop to fix it. People can say something, "Hey, you go, what's going on with you?" Or "Why'd you say that?" Or "Why'd you act like that?" And we justify it because she or he did this and they had it coming. Right? So let's look back in your own life and really notice how often have you gone through the same experiences over and over again in your life. Right? It could be in your friendships. Always meeting some girls that's causing you some drama. It could be with men, always meeting men that's, not treating you well, taking advantage or abusing you. It could be with your job. You keep getting the same kind of job. So what I'm telling you, ladies, is that this is just not happening in your relationships. It's probably happening in other areas in your life, but because we humans have a need to be loved, we notice it there. But I challenge you to look at your whole life. Do a 360. And you'll see, right? We have blocks, we have limited beliefs, right? And again, as I mentioned earlier, I'm finding that women are getting triggered, right? They're suffering silently because they have emotional trauma due to unmet needs. Your parents didn't give you the love that you need. Your dad didn't call you a princess. He didn't throw you up in the air and take you shopping and put a pretty dress on you, right? Maybe you don't even know your dad, right? Maybe your mom was a strong woman because she was a single mom and she had to hold everything down, right? Again, some of you were sexually, emotionally abused. Some of y'all have already told me you were molested by your own parents. That's sad. It's hard to bounce back from stuff like that, right? Some of you have been abandoned and kidnapped. I mean, this is not like I'm just guessing. These are things that I have worked with women on, right? Again, your parents have been divorced or have addiction, or your parents have their own problems, so they can't even focus on your problem, right? They don't even know that something is going on with you because they're so busy focusing on themselves, right? And this cause, I think the slide is out of whack, but I'll go with it, right? But this causes us to get attracted to different kinds of men, right? They're beta men or alpha men. That slide was misplaced. Should be further down in the presentation, but we'll get back to it. What I want to talk about here is my mask. What was my issue? I've already shared a little bit with you, right? My blind spot, my love wound, right? Was I didn't get a lot of attention and affection when I was in love, when I was a little child, because my mom was mentally ill. And I wasn't with my dad yet. I later on went to live with my dad when I was 13, and my life changed, right? But under 13 is where I had a lot of my traumatic issues, right? My mom was mentally ill, so she couldn't give us attention. She was drugged up most of the time, right? And so we had to really raise ourselves. We had to cook and clean ourselves, get ourselves up for school and go to school. And thank goodness I was a good student. I was an A student, right? That was the only thing I had, the only place where I got accolades. And so I was proud to get A's because my teacher was the one showing me some attention. Right? But I had fears. And as I grew up, my fears showed up as control and perfection. I had people telling me that you're very intense. When I was like 19, I'm like, what do you mean? I didn't even understand what they meant. But I was very controlling. I was trying to be a perfectionist. And one of the things I want you to know is that control and perfectionist and fear is the enemy of intimacy. So if you have control issues, if you're trying to be perfect, always complaining, always trying to fix something and get it 100% right, if your kid's room has to be immaculate all the time, right? Just realize that that's the enemy of intimacy. Relax a little bit. It won't kill you if the room ain't 100% perfect, right? And because of that, I lacked, because of the lack of nurturing, I ended up attracting men that were needy, and I ended up helping them, giving them money, right? Ended up spending, I think it was $10,000 or $15,000 for a new engine. You know, you talk about money. I lost a lot of money too. So I get that, right? Or I attracted men who just could not give me the love and attention that I deserved. They were sociopaths. They only cared about themselves, or psychopaths, or they were narcissistic, trying to prove everything that I'm doing is wrong just so that they could look good, right? Or trying to condition me that we don't need to go out on a date. How about I come over and cook? Well, let's just watch a movie. I just want to spend time with you, boo, at home. Right? No, the reality was you couldn't take me out because you didn't want to be seen in public because you were probably married, right? And you didn't want anyone to see you, or you were in another relationship, right? And so men condition us to, I want to stay home and just have dinner. I want to let me just bring the food over. I got some wine, I got some food, I got some flowers. So I'm going to come on over in Netflix and let's just hook up, right? And we get used to that. He comes over and now he's spending the night. I had a guy, he had most of his clothes there. But at the end of that relationship, and I was only about 20 years old when this happened to me, I found out that he was living with a woman and she was in on, she knew. And she finally told me that, he's in a relationship with me, right? So these games happened to me very early on in life. And ladies, I am trying to save you time and effort and energy. I get triggered. This was one of my biggest things I had to learn to live with and deal with, when people thought I was lying about something. And I had to connect that back to the fact that my mom never believed me when I told her I was raped. And so a lie triggered me, or if someone accused me of lying, I used to get furious. Right. And in my relationships, right. So if my boyfriend or husband would just say, oh, that's a lie, or girl, stop lying, or whatever, I would just go off. Right. So pay attention to your triggers, ladies. Right. This is me. This is me. This is me. This is my 50th boudoir session. So those who are coming to the retreat, you will definitely have your own personal boudoir session. So I can see that a couple of you just signed up for the retreat, and I thank you very much. And I want to remind you that if you need a payment plan, just email me if you can't find the right payment plan that you need. But you should have gotten some payment plans with the reminder emails. And if you didn't, if you need a special one because what's out there doesn't fit your finances, let me know and we'll set up a special payment plan and I'll send you the link for that. So we all will take boudoir pictures at the retreat. But I put this picture up here to talk about how my showed up in my adult relationships, right? And what happened was that little girl inside of me that never got the love that she deserved, right? That was abandoned, molested, mistreated. I kept trying to get the love that I needed and wanted from men. So I kept attracting men that just were interested, that, you know, they thought I was sexy and wanted to be with me. And it made me feel good because I equated sex with love, like most of you do, right? You think because he comes over and kiss you, bring you flowers and dinner and have sex with you and tell you, oh, you're the best, that's love, right? But ladies, what happens is when you kiss a guy, oxytocin fires off in your body. Oxytocin is the cuddle gene that when you nurse a baby, it's what makes you and that baby bond. It's what makes that baby know that you're its mother. Okay, that's how powerful that gene is. And that chemical, that hormone kicks off when you kiss a guy. Be careful who you kiss so quickly, because you will get attached before you even know him. You're like, I really love him. And I'm like, the first thing I ask, if any of you have ever called, when you say, oh yeah, we were together for a month and I'm so in love with him, I always say, did you have sex? Because it's an addictive drug. When you have an orgasm, dopamine is what is released in your body. And if you're having sex with him, you're addicted to him. Whether or not he's a good man, whether or not he loves you back, whether or not he gives a damn, you're addicted to him because you have had an orgasm with him. And so we all know what dopamine is, right? People are in homes trying to rehabs, trying to get off of dopamine, right? So that's what you're doing to your body. The dopamine is the same dopamine that people that are on drugs are addicted to. And so when you have sex with a guy before you know him, that's why you're falling for these guys and you're staying in these relationships too long, because you're having sex too soon. 90 days is not enough, ladies. It's not enough, right? It's not enough. Let that go. It's not enough. It doesn't work, right? So on a subconscious level, I was trying to heal my wounds. I was trying to feel better. I was trying to soothe my pain, just like most of you. So I was sexing it up. I was getting sexy, right? I thought I was going to be swinging from the chandelier, being the best they ever had, right? Right? But deep down inside, I really projected these feelings because I didn't feel the love I needed as a kid. And so I grew up looking for love from men, right? And if I could just get this man to love me, it would mean that I'm lovable and worthy, and I can show the world, right? I know some of you can relate to that. But what happens is that we really get stuck in this hypnotic trance, ladies, with our limited beliefs and our expectations based on others, right? We don't think about things, is what I'm saying. We just go by rote. We just are in this automatic motion. That's what I mean by hypnotic trance, right? We have the same emotional patterns and habits. We get triggered. We're needy and we're desperate, and we don't ever check it. That's why you're dating the same guy over and over again, because you just keep going and going and going like the Energizer Bunny. And you finish with this guy, you go to the next one. And you just never stop and hit the pause button and try to figure out what's going on with you, because you're just in this trance, trying to get a man, in a trance, trying to get a man. And you get stuck in the same situation over and over again. So why and how do we identify our blind spots? I think I've given you a lot so far, but you really need to push your mind to allow you to break through and understand what's going on inside of your mind and your heart, right? You really need to understand the things that are going on where you desire validation and love, right? And so, you know, some of us believe that once we get more money, right, or a good man or a better job or more vacations, we'll be happy. Well, again, Anthony Bourdain and Kate Smith proved that wrong. She's worth, I think, over $133 million. I mean, wow. I'm just thinking, if I can have 5 of those million. I say 5 because, you know, by the time you get a beautiful home and furnish it, you can get a good car nowadays, you could blow more than half of that, right? And still not have a ton to save, right? You know, based on this world's standards, right? So it's not all in the stuff. It's not all in the love. It's within us, ladies. right? Because what happens is when we get these things, again, I go back to Anthony Bourdain and Kate Spade, you're not happy for long, right? You may live a fairly decent life, but we still get angry, we still get depressed, or we're still lonely, because the subconscious mind or ego, the nature is to feel, we feel incomplete, right? Because we keep holding on to our limited beliefs. I'm not worthy, I'm not good enough, or I'm, somebody's going to pay for what they did to me, right? We keep holding on to all of this stuff and this drama, right? And therefore we live our life unconsciously, right? Again, in that hypnotic trance, right? And we become wound driven, trying to solve our problems. That's why we become so successful and get so many degrees. We're trying to prove that we're good enough, right? And then we end up still getting to that point. And again, it's not enough. We still feel incomplete. I think of Robin Williams as well, killed himself. He made everybody laugh, but he couldn't make himself happy. Right? What's missing, ladies, in this area with those folks and a lot of people is that soul level connection with yourself and with your creator, right? That's super important. We can't bypass that. We can't trade that for money, right? And then what ends up happening, whether it's spiritual, whether it's a lack from our childhood, what ultimately happens is that these wounds show up in our relationship, and we either attract the wrong man or sabotage a relationship with a good man. So I'm going to quickly blow through 8 steps to identify your blind spots. I think I have a worksheet with this on, but please take notes or listen to the recording just in case I don't. But I think I have a worksheet that I can email you out with that goes with this session. So what's your ish? Those of you who've been around me a long time, you know what I'm talking about. What's your problem? What's going on inside here and here, your head and your heart, your mental, your emotion? What's going on? Are you getting triggered? Don't feel worthy? You lack self-love, self-confidence, trust. You got walls, masculine energy, right? You want control and power, success. Look at me, right? Or you're afraid to open up your heart? Are you codependent? Are you emotionally needy? Right? Are you smothering guys? Right? Believe me, really, some of us believe that happiness comes from just being with a man. So what's your ish? Number 2, what social mask are you wearing? So this, again, without judgment, take away the judgment and you won't have to deal with the shame, blame, and guilt. Shame means I've done something wrong. Ladies, most of you have not done anything wrong, right? And so, but I want you to play detective and really follow your thoughts and your emotions and start journaling. I want you to journal at least for the next 7 days and start seeing what comes up for you. Okay. I want you to play detective with your emotions and thoughts and see what you're thinking about. See what's going on. Write down some of the limiting beliefs or some of the negative thoughts that are floating around in your head. And then just try to determine, how do you act? How do you show up in your relationships? Do you go on your first date talking about marriage and baby? So what are you doing, right? How does your representative show up in the world and on your dates? How, and how is it different from how you really feel inside, right? Are you acting happy on the outside, right, with these masks, and on the inside you're sad and gloomy, right? Are you faking the funk? You know what? Faking it until you make it doesn't work with relationships, and it doesn't work with your happiness. It may work if you're going on a job interview, but it doesn't work with your real life stuff, like your emotions and love. It doesn't work. So that, please trash, just eliminate, press F7, delete for faking it until you make it, because that's not what we want to do. You cannot get into a healthy relationship and get a husband by faking it until you're making it, because then he will cheat on you after you're married. Then you have more problems. So let's F7 that, delete it. We're not going to fake it until we make it. We're going to really solve our problem, right? 3, who's the first person who broke your heart? What is your love wound? This requires you to go straight back, deep back to your childhood. Something happened. What happened? Who did it? And then the what? What did they do to hurt you, cause you trauma? Abuse you how? Verbally, physically? What did they do? Molest, rape you, lie to you, hurt you? Kill your parents? I mean, something happened. Did your parents beat your parents? Did your parents beat each other? Were they mean to each other? Something happened, right? It's not going to be pretty. Did someone tell you you weren't pretty, you're too fat, you were ugly, you were never going to get a man, right? Or that you were too dumb, you're not going to amount to anything? What happened in your childhood? Think about it. And then what do you feel like in your body? I usually do a meditation at this point, but again, I'm trying to keep our session pretty short here. So I want you to think about what you feel in your body, right? So do you feel contracted, right? Do you feel expanded, right? If you usually feel tight and stiff and you got a lot of knots, there's something wrong. Right? You feel a lot of anger. Do you feel unworthy, not trusting, right? Tune into your body and start paying attention to what's going on. The sixth thing is identify your blind spots with men, right? Start thinking about the type of men that you're attracting over and over again, who lie and cheat, and what are they doing? Won't commit to you. They keep saying, yeah, baby, but you've been with him for 5 years and he's still not committing, or you're living with him, he's still not committing, right? Does he continue to say, oh, when I get a divorce, you know how that is, I'm working on it, right? Or I got some things to work on, or I'm taking care of my grandma. Well, I got this stuff going on. Does he always got an excuse why he can't commit? Really, pay attention to it. Are you dating a mama's boy? This is where the other slide should have been, right? Peter Pan man, do you like bad boys? Do you like needy men or weak men or damaged men, emotionally spent men? Do you like the player, the smooth guy who always knows what to say and how to get in your panties? Do you like the emotionally unavailable guy who is never going to commit to you no matter how much sex and money you give to him? Do you like the feminine guys who are emotionally weak guys who ain't man enough to stand up to you? He's just weak and let you walk all over him. Or do you like the abusive sociopath or narcissistic men, right? Think about what kind of men turn you on. Do you like the alpha guy who's really not that interested in you? He's just interested in building his own ego, right? So think about the type of men that you like. It'll start giving you clues, ladies, right? So, and then how do you show up in your relationships? Are you insecure, needy, a victim? Are you controlling the guy? Are you shut down? Or, do you have a slave mentality? I just talked to someone the other day. A lot of us still hold on to a slave mentality. You don't have to just be African-American. A lot of cultures have been enslaved. Right? But do we have that slave mentality where we're cold, we're not connected, right? And we just feel, it's just not a good mentality. We don't know how to connect to each other. We look at each other as property, right? We don't look at each other as having rights and freedom, right? Do you have a princess mentality? Or are you acting like a bitch all the time? I mean, really, what's going on? And then I want you, as I mentioned, to get into a mindful practice. Right? Start to journal. Journal for at least 7 days. If you can do it for a lifetime, do it. Right? But write down what's going on inside of you, especially with your fears and denial, without really centering yourself. Right? See how strong each feeling is. Think again, go back to thinking about the guys that you're attracting. Are you allowing them to use you, lie to you, have sex with you, push you away? Right? What's going on? Usually this has a lot to do with your past pain or your trauma, because most of y'all go through the typical conversation, right? He has all the right answer. We think we got all these questions, from the, all the dating experts out there to give you all the questions to ask, right? It's not about that, ladies. I don't teach my women to ask questions like that. Hopefully we'll touch on what it's about, but it's not about that, right? He says all the nice, sexy things, the flattering things, right? To get your heart. He knows what to say, right? And 90 days are gone and you give him sex, right? And then he strips you of your confidence, your self-esteem, and then he disappears, or he's running hot and cold and coming in when he wants to and leaving, and then you don't hear from him. Oh, baby, I had to take care of some stuff. I had to work. I had my grandmother, something. I got in an accident. I lost my phone, whatever, right? It's all lies, right? And so, and when you do get pissed off, when you do catch him screwing up, right? He throws a baby at you. You're my girl. I love you. And then y'all have sex and it's all fixed, right? Till the next time, right? And you fall for it. You keep falling for it. Type your ahas. Type what if you're picking up what I'm putting down, Tell me what you're picking up. Tell me what is the biggest thing that's resonating with you that I'm talking about tonight. Put that in the chat box. I'm going to go on to the second piece. This will be really quick, right? Because what we need is a soul level change. We really do. It's time for soul level change. It's time to stop wondering, why am I still single? Why can't I find a guy? What's going on? Why is he using and abusing me? And it's time to make the change. It's time to do something different, ladies. You can sit there and wonder for the rest of your life. You can attend free sessions for the rest of your life, or you can do some real work and make your shift and be one and done. Okay? So you're very smart. Most of you are successful, educated woman, right? But you're very predictable to men. He knows that all he has to do is show up for 90 days and pay for dinner, call you and buy you flowers, and boom, he's in your pants. And now your dopamine is flying off and you're like, oh, come see me. He already knows all that. And you give him anything. We give him the blueprint to break our heart on the first date. Most of us, you got to stop, right? You got to get out of your head. You got to stop allowing yourself to be stripped of your dignity. Get rid of the shame, blame, and guilt, right? You need to wake up to your own personal emotional blueprint. Become aware, become your own personal advocate, become aware, become consciously aware of what's going on. And that starts with some of the things I've asked you to take notes on, those 7 or 8 steps I just gave you. Start there, okay? Start with your story, your subconscious mind. Start understanding what's going on when you're facing something. Really, it's time to start paying attention, right? So this is a little snippet of some of the things that will help you make a shift. These are real shifts, ladies, that I'm trying to help you make. All right. We just have 1 or 2 slides left, so thank you for hanging in there with me, and then we'll get to Q&A. So you have to change your strategy or approach. If what you're doing is not working, it's time to change. You have to change your poor me story, right? You got to get rid of the victim mentality. First one, no man wants a victim. He really doesn't. He really does. He wants to act like he wants to be your savior. But nowadays, men used to want to come and rescue you and help you and ride you off to the sunset and save you from whatever's going on in life. But now, when they hear your victim story, now they know, ding, 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 that's free sex. That's free sex. I can get sex anytime I want because she is so, she doesn't have confidence. She doesn't have courage. She probably doesn't have a lot of friends, and she ain't going to tell nobody because she's ashamed. So you got to change your mindset. And again, as I mentioned earlier, you got to create a soul. Y'all need some Jesus in your life. I know some of y'all are not Christian, but y'all believe in a creator, so no offense if you're not. But y'all need to have a spiritual correct connection with your creator. Okay, you really do. You have to also access, when you have that connection, you start to activate your intuition. You have to also access your inner queen and level up your confidence and your self-love and really tap into your femininity. These are the things that I teach women how to do. So the blueprint process here, these are just a few of the things that I teach women. You have to really learn how to pick up the cues when a guy's pursuing you to determine if he's your Mr. Right or not. You have to realize you can't do this alone. Ladies, you don't study this. I study this. I didn't tell you anything you tell me a guy says, I can tell you if he's running game. So they call me the female hitch because I tell a lot of women what to say, when they don't know what to say, when we're trying to figure out what's going on with the guy. So sometimes I will guide you in that conversation, not word for word, but will help you shape the conversation. And the support that I know that works is what I mentioned, ladies. You have to do coaching with me and support and get into community. And your opportunity to do this all together is to come to the retreat. Right now, if you sign up for the retreat, you will get to come to the retreat, plus you will be enrolled in my monthly coaching program where I do a session like this, but it's with a smaller group where we get together and I do lessons and I do Q&A, and you can ask me anything, and I get to personally coach each one of the persons in my program. So I was wrong. We have 20 spots. I couldn't remember if it was 19 or 20. but I know that I just saw a couple of people buy, so I'm sure that number is reduced by now. So if you don't see a payment plan that fits your needs, ladies, just reach out to me. You have a few months before the retreat. Y'all buy enough Starbucks and stuff. And let me tell you something. I usually encourage women that really can't afford it to do the $100 a week program, because y'all spend $100 a week easy. And y'all want to go on these dates with guys, but guess what? When you go on a date, it costs more than $100. Dinner and drinks cost more than $100. Going out to the movies, oh wow, that's more. By the time he gets his hair cut, you get your hair done, get a new outfit, you know, get your nails done, all of that stuff. You spend way more than $100. So if you're looking to have a man, see, this is the other thing, is shifting your mindset. Learn to invest in yourself and get the support that you need. Because if you don't want to get the support you need, you're never going to get the man you want. Because a man will never invest in you or love you more than you invest in yourself or love yourself. And that's real talk. And that's why these women, when they come, I mean, what does it work? You think, if you're single for the next 5 years, you're going to wish you spent $1,700 for a retreat where you get your breakfast, lunch, and dinner, where you get coaching. We have workshop every day. We have yoga, meditation every morning. We have an activity every day. We have a meet and greet. As a matter of fact, the first night we do paint and sip to do an icebreaker where we can get to know each other. The next day we go to an adventure park, and then we're coming back. We're going to have a twerk class. And so, ladies, I mean, it's really, really going to be amazing. And so I really encourage you. So that's just Wednesday and Thursday. Friday, we have, again, same thing, meditation in the morning, yoga. We have breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And then Friday, you also have a spa day, where you go to a spa. And let me tell you something. I don't make any money. For those who are curious about the retreat, people tell me I'm crazy because I don't make any money out of the retreat. I do this as part of my philanthropy to give back. I don't charge for my services, and I don't charge you personally for the retreat. And that's why it's only $1,700, and it can be an all-inclusive. Most retreats are about $5,000, right? But this is only $1,750 because I take no money off the top. Your spa day is $250. We're going to a very elite spa, the Sea Hill Spa at the Cavalier Marriott Hotel. Just the name sounds expensive, right? And your lunch is included, and your massage and whatever treatments you get and whatever is all included. And then when we come back from that spa day and you're all made up, we will have a boudoir and a beauty bar bash where I get a penthouse suite, the presidential suite, and we have our boudoir party there. We have food, we have drinks, we'll have a beauty bar. I'm getting some makeup artists to come in to help you with your makeup for your photo session and your photo shoot. Your boudoir, like you saw mine, is included. That's Friday. Saturday, same thing, yoga, meditation, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, right? And we're going on, we have workshop in the morning. The afternoon, I'm super excited because I have my dear friend, Todd. He's a therapist. He was on my summit with me, and he will be coming out to the retreat. He's volunteered his services, again, to pour into you. And he will be coming on Saturday to help those who have some real psychological childhood issues that we really need to work through and bust through. So we're going to have a real therapist there that's going to really help you do some work, right? And so he'll be there on Saturday. He's also a sex therapist. So I'm super excited about what he can help us with, right? And then Saturday night, we're going to have a sunset cruise, dinner cruise. It's going to be an all-white party. So we're looking to invite some single guys so you guys can do some speed dating and networking with. So we're working on that. And then Sunday, we have mimosas with the men, where you get to have a Q&A panel with a male panel where you can ask a bunch of questions. So it's going to be super amazing. And ladies, I let you know, I have to be realistic. So some of you may want to have a one-on-one quick session with me to make sure the retreat is right for you, or to learn more about the retreat. But if you just go to Love Rejuvenation Retreat, if somebody can type that in for me, that would be great. If you just go out to Love Rejuvenation Retreat, you will find out more about the retreat. I'll try to copy the link in for you as well. You will find out more about the retreat. So I only have about 5. I can only do about 5 sessions a day. So just to let you know, so if you do make a session, I may have to bump you to the next day because I've been getting so many women who want sessions. So they want to learn more. And just to let you know that the retreat was slightly reduced because we've had some sponsors. So if you checked last week, the retreat was probably showing up as $1,900, but now the retreat is down to $1,750. So I hope you realize that that is a reduction, and I didn't take anything away. So I'm super excited. So I'm going to open up for questions. And nothing is too far away. It's just a plane ride away. Okay. So who's that? Trinace. Thank you, Trinace. Trinace says my process really works. Sharing is caring. Thank you, Trinace. Trinace has been a student of mine, so I appreciate that. And Nat is in there. She says, I'm keeping it real and raw as always. She's also a student of mine. I thank you all for joining. Appreciate that. I'm going to open up for Q&A. And like I said, I'm going to remind you all, please don't wait. Every year people wait until the last minute and I have to turn you away. The room only accommodates 24 women. So please understand that it's really, really crucial if you want to come. After we get 24, we shut it down. So we just really can't have any more women than that. And it's, it's worth it. I mean, so I'm going to open up for questions. If you have some questions, you can just kind of let me know you have a question and I will take you off of mute. Maybe I will make it so that you can unmute yourself. Okay, so now you can unmute yourself if you'd like to ask a question. I'm going to ask, how did you all enjoy the session? Let's start there. Let's break the ice. I'm going to ask maybe I see Chantel, familiar name, Camille Nix. I've seen her before, Trinace and Nat. If one of you all will just let me know what your thoughts are, I would appreciate it so we can break the ice. Chantel, can I call on you? Can you hear me? I don't know if I can hear her. All right. You guys are a quiet bunch tonight. No questions? That's impossible.
Hey, Camille.
Hey, Trinace.
How are you?
I'm amazing. How are you? I hope y'all are amazing.
I'm good. I just think more people need to at least be introduced to this class so that this will be a good resource, an inexpensive resource for people who say they don't have the money. Because I talk to so many women that I refer to you all the time, and then there are women that don't listen to the advice that you give that I receive that I'm giving to them. Mm-hmm. So I wish more women took advantage of this resource. Yeah. That's just my only thought on it.
And I appreciate that. A lot of people tell me that all the time. I actually had Ayana Van Vance, one of her publicists, because we were thinking about getting Ayana for the retreat, and she's a little bit too expensive for us this year. So, and then on top of that, she's going to be filming during the time of this particular retreat. But he looked at our stuff and he talked to me and he watched some of my stuff and he's like, he's asking me to be one of their potential clients to work with them. So we're talking about that now. So yeah, the information is super powerful because I don't do fluff and stuff. I just give you the real raw information. And hopefully you recognize that. And I know some of you have been emotionally raped and financially raped over and over again, but this is one program that I can definitely tell you, and anyone who's been in my program can tell you, it's been the real deal. That's why they say the real deal with Camille. So it's really powerful. And probably because I don't know how to give fluff and stuff, I just know how to give what I can. Thank you, Trinace. Any other questions? Tell me what was the biggest takeaway. You all are super quiet. That's not how you learn, honey. You got to ask your questions. Who wants to come on and tell me one of your current dating challenges and get live coached by me? Yes. Yes, and that's a good reason to be celibate. So thank you for Charlene for that. Yeah, so many people try to socially shame folks who want to either be a virgin or be celibate. But yes, it's important. I have to be honest. Before I got married, I was celibate too. I actually, when I dated my husband, people laugh at me. My girlfriends used to tease me, but because I was doing so much studying and I knew what I knew, when I after I divorced my husband, I didn't kiss anybody. I really wouldn't kiss anybody because I didn't meet anybody that I felt was husband, my Mr. Right. So it was no need of me wasting my spit and getting addicted to him and attached when I knew I didn't mentally like him, right? It wasn't even about physical because men don't always have to be the physical everything you need. Some of us want it more than others, but I knew I didn't want to become chemically addicted to anybody. So even with my husband, Nathan, we were friends for 11 months. And when I say, I call it friends because we didn't have a label either on our relationship. And we went out to dinner, we went to movies, we went to concerts, we had fun. We didn't touch or have sex, but we had fun together. We had a good time. We talked on the phone hours, but he never put a label on a relationship, and I wasn't looking for a label at that time. And we didn't have a label, and I definitely wasn't kissing him. And so by the time it was about 11 months after we knew each other and just hanging out, having fun, we did kiss. And then we had to ask, what does this mean? What is the definition of our relationship at that point? And at that point, he let me know that he wanted to marry me, and I guess because we were friends, we weren't officially dating, but we were hanging out enough that we could have been dating, right? And he knew that he wanted to marry me. And at that point, we were good. But I didn't kiss him so I could get to know him without being blinded or by any chemicals that were firing off in my body. Oh, Trinae. So Karen so one of your friends is on, Trinae. She said Trinae tells you about all the time. Thank you, Trinae. And thank you, Karen, for joining. I hope you enjoyed it. My prayer for all of you, for at least 20 of you, because that's all we can fit, 20 more, is that you come to the retreat. So if you really want a good dose, the retreat is in Virginia Beach, Virginia. It's still warm here. It's really beautiful here. The hotel is right on the beach. And I mean, it's a beautiful hotel. You can go click on the website and look at it. As a matter of fact, all the rooms were just renovated. It's a girls' trip. It ends up being a girls' trip. It's 24 women. How many friends do you have in your life now? A lot of us don't have really close friends anymore because we are growing in different ways and we're not interested in the same things as our old girlfriends anymore. This is an opportunity to come create your whole new community and your tribe so that you can really create and build new relationships with people, right? And then you can become friends with people and you have a new community of women who have your back. If you go look at some of the pictures on my Facebook, these women became close. I mean, you cry, everybody's hugging you, right? And nobody wants to leave at the end because we all got you. I mean, this becomes your new family, right? This becomes your new community, of friends and family and girls who have these girls. I watch them, when one person posts if they went out on a date or they got engaged, I look at all of them are posting. All of them are calling. They're calling me, say, well, I talked to so-and-so. Did you talk to so-and-so? And I'm like, so it's like all new friends, not just for the retreat, but now for life, to travel and hang out and have dinner. I look at Erica and Dana, they're right in Jersey. They're like always hanging out, and just people, especially the other thing I'll tell you is that if you don't know anybody, post in a group and see who's coming from Jersey. Y'all can drive together or fly together and then share a hotel, even if you come separate, right? And I tell people that all the time. Do whatever you have to do to get here. I don't really recommend that you share a hotel room because it's so emotional to retreat and you learn so much. Sometimes you just want to go and just be by yourself. But if you're okay with sharing a room with someone, share a room, and that will help you cut some of the costs. The retreat is every single dime goes into your food, your activities, and everything. I got to pay the photographers to come. So I can't do much more than I'm doing. As I get sponsors, I can reduce the price. So, and when I do get that back. So, anyhow, so who has a question? Who wants to get coached? Who's not afraid to get coached? Who's not afraid to put themselves out there? When you put yourself out there and you open yourself, you tell the universe that you're ready for your husband, because you have to be able to put yourself out there. That's not true, Anita. So I hate to hear you say that you're too old to find true love again. That is absolutely not true. People 70, 80, 90 get married. I think they just had a woman on Facebook, a couple of women a couple of months ago. They were in their 90s, they were getting married. So that's not true at all. People get married all the time, no matter how old they are. So don't feel that, because when you tell yourself that you're too old to find true love again, guess what? That becomes your truth, because you're conditioning your mind of that. You're weaving that into your brain, right? My date is 70 years and he dates and he's looking for a serious. Oh, my dad. Yep. See that? So you got a hookup right there. Somebody's trying to hook you up with their dad, Anita. Don't ever say that you're too old. When we start telling ourselves negative things, that's what we're feeding our brain subconsciously, and then we block our energy. Energy is a real thing. The law of attraction and energy is very, very true. If you show up with the energy, oh, I'm never going to find a man. Why would the universe, God, bless you with a man? Why would the man feel your energy? Because your vibe says, I'm never going to find a man. There's no men in my area. I've been hurt. That's what your vibe, that's called leaking. And he can sense that. And if you that's the number one thing you have to learn, is to stop doing that. I really need to get rid of those. Yep, absolutely. That's where I start. That's where I start my program, and that's where I start at the retreat. Day number 1, but that's why we go to the adventure park, because the first thing we're doing is busting through those fear and those limited beliefs. Yes, you will zip line. Well, if you don't want to, I don't force anybody. Yes, we will do some amazing activities you never did before, because I am taking you through an experience. That's the whole thing of the retreat. It's one thing to tell ourselves something in our head, but it's another thing to actually experience something. Once you experience something for real, nobody can change that. No one can take that away, right? And so, yes, you need to get rid of those negative thoughts, because good men will continue to be taken, because they will feel and you will show up like you don't deserve them, right? Because of stupid things. That's called sabotaging your relationship, right? So that's exactly right. You will sabotage your relationship over and over and over again. Absolutely. Good observation. Y'all can talk. I like talking to people. We want to learn to talk, because you want a man to talk to you, right? So Charlene says, I saw the triggers you mentioned in a girlfriend yesterday. She became anxious, loud, pacing because she left her cell phone. I was calm watching her, and I thought to myself, trying to be in control at all times. Yeah, but and it's just more than trying to be in control all the time. You want to just be yourself, right? And you find yourself going out of control. Going out of control, getting triggered is not a bad thing, because it does tell us what we need to work on, right? And so if you find yourself getting triggered or going off or getting upset, it's good, because what it is your subconscious saying, hey, Charlene, we got to fix this. We got to work on this, right? So Anita says, now that's fast work, babe. Yes, yes, yes. I'm not really sure what her comment is too, but yes. I would love for somebody to talk to me, but now not sure if Mr. Wright would like the me he would meet today. Fair assessment. My love life feels like a recurring nightmare. Have tried so many things over the year. I need to heal from most hurt and go from there. Yep. And Yvette, you nailed it on the head. If you look in the name of my group, that's what the name of the group is helping women heal and restore healthy love from the inside out. So that is the premise of what I teach and I help women to do. Nat said, had a great date last night. Yay! And I would recommend Camille to any woman. And I've had many programs before, and I wish I did her program sooner. Hey, Nat, would you mind coming on so we can chat and the women can hear you? Carol.
Hi, love. Yeah, sure. No problem. I have another date in an hour, but I would be. Yeah. So, yeah, I'm happy.
Nat. So Nat is, she's in my 9-month program right now. And we just started that program, I think at the end of March, beginning of April. So we haven't been doing it that long. We're just in our 3rd month. And she lives in Canada. She's from Europe, right?
Ukraine. Yeah.
And so, go ahead. Now you can tell your story.
Yeah. I just, like I was typing, I've just done so many things through the years, and so many dates, so many first dates that go nowhere. And
coaches that you tried before,
you know, you start
before you came to me.
Oh, I did. Oh my God, probably like at least 5 different online boot camp, a year-long program, and just different things. So many summits. Like, I'm like a junkie with coaching stuff, but I feel like, you know, you have to find someone that you really just resonate with. And I've been following Camille since 2016. And I wish I signed up sooner, because I would have saved so much time and money. and the program just started. So this is just, so I'm so excited. And I'm struggling financially, but I knew that this is my number 1 priority. I'm going to make it work.
Thank you.
So I'm so glad I did.
You're going to find a man that makes so much money that the money that you spend, he will be blessing you with that. That's what
the guy from last night, it was just so nice. Finally, I go on all these, they're always, no, I don't like them, it's not a fit. And yesterday, I think it was like 5 hours, 6 hours, we closed both places down. And then today he wanted to walk the dogs, and then he wanted to go for dinner tonight to continue the conversation. And then, but I said, because I have the other date, so I said for next Friday instead.
Good.
So yeah, it feels so nice. It feels so good.
This is what I love about them. They have options. They don't have to feel desperate. They do their calendar. No, I can't. They learn to check with themselves. No, I don't have time this week. I'm busy. I got whatever. How about next Friday? And she's multiple dating. Did you hear that? She's dating multiple people at one time, and she's not feeling guilty about it. She's not being nasty. She's not having sex with all of them. She's having fun. Now, I do have to ask you a question. And this, ladies, this is an insight.
Anything.
You might not get it. What nationality are these two guys?
Asian.
Okay. That's a thing for Asian guys, so I was just curious. Okay. Good for you. Good for you.
Thank you,
And
love.
she's dating her type. So she loves Asian guys. And she's been dating a lot of Asian guys, but they haven't been sticking with her, right? Because I guess maybe she wasn't their type, but that's her type. She loves Asian guys, right? We all got our type. And so now, since the program, I'm so happy that like now they're pursuing you.
Well, it's like energy is like the one main thing that I'm getting through all this. It's all about our energy, how we make them feel, how we show up, and really it's so important to just be happy first, because for so long you think, yeah, if you just look good and you're all dolled up and you think it should all fall in place, but no, you have to really love yourself, love your life, show up as real as you can be. And I think that's why the date went so well. So I was just being so myself and so open. And I think he was vibing with that.
Yeah. And so when I'm thinking about it, we started class the first week of April. We had 6 classes already. We didn't even have class this week yet. This would have been the 7th class, the first week of June. But because I had to travel, many of you probably saw me on Facebook, I had to fly to Chicago. And so we only had 6 classes.
And I'm so excited for the rest. Yeah, I guess you moved it to Thursday. I can't wait to catch that replay because I couldn't make that one.
No. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I got to send the replay out. I'll send it out. Thank you for reminding me. Yeah. So we did an impromptu class. I didn't do a formal class, but yes. I'm so excited for you, Nat. Thank you so much.
Thank you, love.
Being transparent. And I didn't even invite anybody for my class in here, but thank you for showing up. Okay, so someone is.
You actually did, Camille. You did invite. You tagged us on Facebook.
Oh, is that what I did? Okay.
For this earlier, remember?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. I'm like, how did they know about the class? Okay, great. Thank you. Okay, so someone is asking, do you teach where to meet men in the area? I'm in Atlanta, and can you give me an idea of what airline tickets will cost to Virginia Beach? So. Yeah, so Carol, hopefully you're still on. I'm trying to see if she's still on. Hopefully she's still on. Yep, I see that she's still on. So great, Carol. I'm not sure what the airline tickets are from Atlanta, but I do know that they're not expensive. I used to work in Atlanta with a client, and I don't know if they're like $200, $300. So of course it's all about timing and when you buy the ticket and how far in advance. But I do know the tickets are not super expensive from Atlanta. My airport is ORF, the airport that you would need to come into. It's all on the website too. ORF is the airport for Norfolk. So that's where you would come into. Yeah, and so Trinace is giving you an airline, but yeah, it shouldn't be that expensive because I used to fly in and out of Atlanta, and the tickets were not that expensive. I don't think I ever bought a ticket that was more than $200-300. So, but like I said, I haven't flown out in a while, so just check. And do I teach where to meet guys? 100%. So as a matter of fact, when you come, we will be doing some in the field dating. So I will take you out in the hotel because there is a dance club on the rooftop of the hotel. So it's a rooftop sky bar is what they call it. They play music, they have a DJ and lots of dancing, and the girls went there last year. And then they have music down in the first floor. As well. Plus it's a big bar, lots of rich guys. We're in Virginia Beach, so it's a very affluent area. So you do get an opportunity to meet a lot of guys. I had some of the women, because I'll tell you to go up and talk to them, and then I will help you understand where to meet guys in your area. So yes, I definitely do teach that in my program and at the retreat, for sure. Okay, I'm trying to see some of the other questions. Good questions. Okay. So Nat, they're asking, the guy that you met, was he online? Is that how you're meeting your guy? She does a lot of meeting guys online, yes. Not sure if she's still on, but she does meet a lot of guys online. There's a specific way, ladies, so I don't want you all to run out and just go create an online dating profile, because there is a way to do your dating profile where it's effective. That's why you might get scrubs, because your dating profile might not be set up the way that it should be. So, yes. Any other questions, ladies? We're getting quiet. I'm going to give someone one last time to come on and tell me what your current situation is and have me coach you live. This is free. It's live. Who wouldn't want to get a free coaching session, power session for a few minutes? Charlene, would you be willing to come on live where I can hear you and talk to you? Awesome.
Hello.
Hi, where are you from, my love?
I'm in Seabrook, Maryland.
Awesome. So you're really close.
Yes.
So I know you are planning to get your retreat ticket because you only have to drive.
That's correct. I've got a couple of things I'm trying to work out with some dates. So I have a wedding coming up with my nephew, and they haven't made the date concrete. So I don't want to say yes, and then it ends up being the same dates as the retreat.
I'll tell them they have to pick a different weekend. And I want to be at your wedding.
Yeah, really. I wish I could split myself in half and go to both places.
Yeah. So awesome. So the retreat is October 3rd through the 7th. And yeah, definitely. Hopefully you can definitely make it.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to try to do that. I had asked about Nat meeting online because I've been online at several different places for several years, and I've met some really nice guys. And again, like you said, some scrubs also. And not quite sure why I just haven't made that connection. Either, you know, I'll come across the players, or I want one thing, they want something else, or they say they want what I want, and then end up a few months later, I find out that's not really the case. Mm-hmm. I'm not having sex, so they're not getting that. And that could be reason why they're not hanging around also.
Yeah, so let me debunk that myth, first of all, the sex thing. Let me tell everybody one thing, ladies. If a guy wants you and he wants to marry you, or he wants to build a future with you, sex is not the most important thing for him. Everybody got a vagina, vajayjay, right? So, and I will say what I heard a guy said the other day, might have been Steve Harvey. It might have been Steve Harvey on Friday. It ain't that different from everybody else. Got a little bit different moves and different style and different way we do stuff, right? But in general, we all have sex, right? We might have a little different flavor, but it ain't enough of a different flavor where you're gonna send anybody to the moon, right? And so if a man likes you, he likes you. And as a matter of fact, I have women in the program that was in the program last year. They are virgins, so they're not just celibate, they are virgins. And they have proposals on the table too. And they're not having sex with people, right? And so that's just the way it works. I don't think Jamie had sex with Niles before he proposed to her, right? And I know that Dana and Russell, there was only 30 days. I know they weren't intimate that quickly, right? And he already proposed to her. So when a man knows he wants to be with you, he wants to, let me give you a ring so we can have sex. That's his whole attitude. Getting back to your online dating profile, there's a couple of things I'll just be very transparent that needs to happen. Ladies do not understand this. One, you need to have professional pictures done. So I'm just going to tell y'all straight out. Two, you need to have a coach or someone like me write your profile. 3, you need to learn how to communicate on the online dating space. and how long to leave that conversation online, and then how to sweep it off onto your phone. So those are the three biggest components you need to know how to do. Dana met Russell. I just showed you Dana. She met Russell online. As a matter of fact, I was the one that inboxed Russell and got their communication going and flirted with him and talked to him a little bit. And then her and him got together, and now they get married. So I do know that, and I helped Dana with her online profile. Yes, ma'am?
The boudoir pictures that you were mentioning at the retreat, what is going to happen with those pictures?
Those are your pictures to make you feel confident and sexy. And
okay.
At some point, you may, when you get a husband, give them to him as a gift. Don't give them to your boyfriend. He don't deserve husband stuff.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
You know, if he ain't give me a ring, I'm not giving him a boudoir picture.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I know you mentioned the 3 steps as far as doing the coaching, the one-on-one support, and then the retreat. So even if I don't do the retreat, I can do the other 2, right?
You can still coach with me and join one of my programs 100%. And just tell you that the retreat, and I do hope that you'll be able to make it, and hope the wedding is a different weekend. And the whole idea of the retreat is that we're one-on-one. Something magic happens when you're in the presence of me and with the women in the community. I think it's that whole women being in community and bonding and the exercises I take you through. So when I say workshop in the morning, I'm talking about we have an activity and an exercise, writing or physical. So you saw the women with the crowns on. They actually did an exercise where they were marrying themselves. And they took a vow of how they would treat themselves before you even took a vow to be with a man. That's super powerful when you do that. That's why these women are getting married so quickly. The other thing was the mirror exercise. I can't take the credit for that. That was developed. I can't even remember the woman's name. She's dead now, who developed the mirror thing. And so I buy mirrors for everyone. And we did that mirror exercise. We might do that again this year. I don't know. But that was a very powerful exercise. We did tapping. I don't know if y'all know what tapping is. So I teach the women how to tap. I don't know if y'all know what tapping is, but tapping relieves, it brings up, it helps you work through trauma and pain. And so we do EFT tapping. If y'all don't know what that is, y'all can Google it. And so we do tapping right there at the retreat. Oh my gosh, the whole room is crying and breaking through because it releases that crap. And it's like, oh, and now we can do some work. So I take you through, this is not a we gonna hang out and go shopping retreat. So maybe I should have said that in the beginning. We're not hanging out and going shopping. Y'all can go shopping and when y'all have time to go shopping. I'm not taking you shopping unless the women that are coming a day before, staying a day after because they're getting a VIP day and I'm doing a makeover with them, they will be going shopping with me. But during the retreat, we are rolling up our sleeves and we're doing some inner work. Like Ayana Van Zant says, we're going to do your work. I'm coming to do your work. And that's what we're going to do. So we're going to work. So we do tapping, we do mirror exercise, we do commit to ourselves, we identify our purpose and our core values, we break through our fears, we do inner critic. A lot of y'all have this inner critic block that has all this negative stuff. I heard Vive, I can't remember her name, but she says she needs some work on the negative talk. So we do an inner critic exercise to how do you get rid of that inner critic that's constantly nagging you, telling you negative stuff inside your brain. So we do a lot of exercises. It's not it's not that retreat where we're just hanging out, shopping, yay, having a drink. We're gonna have drinks. We're gonna have some drinks, but we are doing a lot of work. So when I say workshop every morning, we have a workshop, and every morning I have an intention. I'm going to start with here, your childhood, your limiting beliefs, your blocks. The next day we work through building, breaking through your fear, building up your confidence, your self-esteem. Then we work with connection and communication with guys. We do some work on your online dating profile. A photographer will be there to take your pictures for your online dating profile as well. Erica and a couple of people got them done last year, and so we invited her back again to do them this year. Yes, we do a lot of work. This is we're going to go inside and do a transformation at this retreat. It's not just hanging out with the girls type of thing. So I want to make that clear. So it might not be for everybody. This is if you're ready to come and do your work, do your work.
Now, you mentioned the day before and the day after. That's only available to certain people?
So if you want to, so some people want to come to do a special one-on-one VIP day with me, and I will spend time with you. We will spend time doing one-on-one coaching. And depending on what you want, some people may want a complete makeover. They may want me to have my stylist to come in and do a wardrobe makeover, shopping, complete something additional for me, and you get to have me. Depending on how many women we have for that, like if I have, let me just say, if all 20 women, well, I can't split myself out up, right? So I may have to do a group session. It might be 2 or 3 of y'all in one group to do your session. So that's a very specialized thing that could be before or after the retreat. Yes, that's extra on top of the retreat.
Okay, thanks.
But during the retreat, you guys get a lot from me. But some people want extra because they want to really get their work done, right? But what I can say is that you don't have to do anything extra. But if you need a wardrobe makeover, you want a personal style makeover, you want me to really work with you one-on-one on your communication or how you're showing up, you want me to take you out in the field, before, after the retreat, like take you out, to a club or someplace I can see how you're interacting, or someplace where you go, a restaurant where you're going to meet men, I can watch how you're interacting. I'm going to do those things during the retreat too. But if you want me to do one-on-one with you, that's with that extra. But that's not included in the retreat. That's only for people who want like a bonus day. And I don't even advertise that. They just say, hey, Camille, can I have an extra session with you? I want a VIP day, and I'll do that, or a VIP half day.
Okay, that sounds good.
Mm-hmm. And let me tell you, ladies, I want to tell you this officially but unofficially for those of you who have jobs. The retreat is a personal development retreat. I encourage you to look at your tuition reimbursement program. The retreat says personal development. It is a personal development program when we come down to it at the end of the day. So last year, many women got tuition reimbursement. And like I said, sometimes the retreat does say, the receipt does say personal development. And if I need to take the Get Mr. Right off of it, for most people I do, we take all of the imagery off and it just says personal development, women empowerment retreat, and they submit that. And if you need the curriculum, I give you that, and they have gotten reimbursed. So it's been approved by corporate America for people to get reimbursed. And if you're going to get reimbursed, here's the trick. I used to work in corporate America too. And this is what I helped a couple of women do last year. What you need to do is you need to put through the hotel. So you want to make sure when you reserve with me, you pay for the hotel and the retreat through me, because you get one receipt from me, and you get that one receipt that says personal development retreat coaching program. And you give that to your boss, and you actually can get your hotel and the retreat paid for, because you will get the complete inclusive, right? The retreat is all inclusive, but I don't include your hotel. But if you need your hotel included, you need to just pay for that together. And when I give you the receipt, you can give that back. Most companies reimburse $3,000 to $5,000. So ladies, you can, if your company reimburses for personal development, and it's personal development, emotional intelligence, and communication. And so that's why it qualifies for reimbursement, tuition reimbursement. So please be aware of that, while you're spending your money. If you haven't used your tuition reimbursement yet, you can probably do that. But before you do that, let me give you a good receipt where your job won't give you a problem. Okay, I hope that helped. Anybody else wants to come online and have a question? Charlene, when you say you've been online and dating, I wanted to ask you a couple of questions if you still will allow me to. Sure. So what's been happening when you've been going out on dates?
Okay, if I tell you the most recent one, which was okay, I'm older. I'm not 70.
How old are you?
I'm 60.
Okay.
So this guy's profile, he reached out to me. He wanted to meet. Maybe in a couple of days, we talked on the phone. He didn't have a picture. So that was kind of a red flag, but I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna, he could be, who knows, whatever reason. And then when we met, all he talked about, it made me think of another post that was online the other day about somebody just talking about themselves over and over. And he lied about his age. He was several years older than what he had posted. And I didn't call him out on it because for whatever reason. And we talked, and he just kept talking about himself and his business and this. And I mean, he didn't ask any questions about me. He didn't, and as I tried to throw little tidbits out about myself, he just kind of like blew them over and kept on talking about himself. He had this physical ailment going on, which he didn't bring up. He had said he had been robbed and had been in the hospital a few months before, but whatever this ailment was on his neck wasn't attributable to that robbery. This was like a growth or something. So it was just a deformity or whatever, but he never addressed it and said, and I met him like a Sunday afternoon. I was leaving church. We was meeting for brunch at Denny's. So I wasn't dolled up completely, but he had on this shirt that had stains on it. He had a hat that was dirty. His jacket was, and I was like, why not make a good impression, So, of course, I never saw him again. He called. No, he called afterwards. I didn't even answer. And then I think he texted again and said, "How you doing, lady?" I didn't even answer because I was like, for one, your picture you didn't have. I didn't question that. The age was incorrect. All you did was talk about yourself. And then you came, not to impress me. So that didn't go well.
Charlene, say this with me. And that's why we meet and greet and have dates.
Okay.
Right? Because the date is, do I like you?
True.
And can we connect with each other? So it's okay. So he showed up. So here's the thing. The blessing is he showed up authentically as himself.
True.
And you could authentically say thank you.
True.
Right?
And I actually cut the date short because he said we were going to do brunch and go see the Black Panther movie because I hadn't seen it. It's been out for a while, but I just hadn't taken the time to see it. So I was like, no, I'm not going to commit to the movie, right? So as we were sitting there and he was like, are we going to do the movie after? I was like, and what time is the movie? So it's about 1:00. He said, the movie starts at 3. I said, oh, well, it's going to be over about 6 and it's on the other side of town and that's not going to work for me. I have to go to work in the morning. I just gave him no, I wasn't going to the movie.
So next time, so now I have met some really handsome and wealthy guys. As a matter of fact, quite a few of the guys that I went out with when I was online dating, they did not have pictures up. So now you know why he didn't have a picture up, right? Some of the guys that I dated, they didn't have a picture up because they were super handsome and they didn't want women to just connect with them because of their looks. So they kind of reached out to women that they want. And I found that out because I was like, why don't you have a picture up? And there's a way to communicate, and I'll teach you that as well. But there's a way to communicate with them. And you kind of communicate with them in a way to find out about their picture and, just, hey, start talking. It's okay to start talking first, but sometimes what you can do is try to FaceTime or try to text a picture. I'm going to text you a picture. You text me a picture. And it's just a general picture, so it could be the same one you got on your online dating site. So you don't need to give him anything special or naked, right? But you're just trying to get him to send you a picture too. And I've had guys that they really didn't have a picture because they were really rich. One was a music producer. One was a basketball player. So some of them, they were really, really rich and well-to-do. So sometimes that's why guys don't put their picture up, but you need to have a conversation with them. You need to talk to them enough so you can know if they're your guy or not. And then hopefully if they shoot you a picture, you can tell. you know, who they are, how they are. Guys, let me say this, and probably not that guys. Some guys are really rich and have money and really well off, and they don't want women after them for their money. So maybe not this guy because he wasn't clean, but I always recommend to date a guy at least 3 times so that you can get to see him for who he is. But he looks like he showed you who he was on the first date, right? And so you were wise for what you did. But you want to try to talk to the guy a little bit like you do, you know, before the date, and try to see why he doesn't have a picture on. Like he had a growth on his neck. He has some stuff going on. So you already realize why he didn't have a picture. But I don't want you to get blocked and think that all guys that don't have a picture do that. Guys can get away with that crap. Women can't. So you do have to have professional pictures. You can't use selfies. You can't just take your own picture with your iPhone, because you're going to get the guys at the level that you're getting them. So you do need to have professional pictures, because then it helps you weed out the trash, and then it helps the guys that are more affluent say, oh, look at her, because now your picture is professional, and it pulls those high-end guys in. So that's a huge tip I'm giving you tonight, that you really need to understand. But like I said, the picture is one part. Then you need to really have your profile. I find that the profiles are not written the way they need to be. And again, you're pulling in the trash instead of pulling in the high-end guy. So there's a certain way you have to write your profile. And then the third thing is the communication back and forth. Right. So those are some of the things that you need to really shift when online dating. A lot of people are meeting online dating right now, and it is very powerful, and I've met some amazing guys. When I was online dating, I had a date. My dad used to laugh every night of the week, because it was just fun, and it was free dinner. You got to look at dinner as free dinner, and it's just dinner and conversation to see if you like a guy. That's all it is. It's not marriage. You're not having a baby. We're not having sex. My husband said, what he says to me, now this is a man. I should have asked him to come on. He says, you know what irritates most men is, I'm just trying to say hi. See if I like you. You know, and you should be just trying to have dinner and conversation to see if you like him. But we take it so far. It's like, oh my God. It's not, oh my God. It's just dinner and a conversation, just like you would meet a new girlfriend. Sometimes that helps. You go out and meet a new girl. Hey, no, she was cool. Or no, I didn't like her. We didn't vibe. It's the same thing. But we get so emotionally attached that we make it more because he fits our ideal and what we want. We make it more than it should be, right? Instead of just dinner, it's just dinner and conversation. The next day, it's just dinner. I dated Nathan, and I'll use the term dated, but we went out for dinner and conversation for 11 months and didn't have a label, didn't kiss. I gave him a hug every now and then. Thank you for dinner. I sent him a text. Thank you for dinner. We didn't have no sex, didn't do any of that. It was dinner and conversation. And I was like Nat, I was going out with other guys, dinner and conversation. I had a couple of guys in rotation until one of them, my husband, stepped forward and says, I want to put a ring on it. And when he did that, he didn't have a ring, and he gave me one of his rings. He said, will you marry me? And he put one of his rings on my finger and said, would you hold on to that until I can get your ring made? I said, sure, that's acceptable. So everybody's different. Was that helpful?
Yes, that makes sense. And even when you were talking about, sending pictures back and forth, that's something that I've not done. And I guess it's turned a lot of guys off, because this picture that you see on my profile, I try to keep them current. Like in the last month, I just put some new ones on. I got a haircut. So before, my hair was different. Then I put a couple of new ones. But then once we start having a conversation, it's like, let me send you a picture. I'm like, for what? And then it's like, oh, send me a picture. I'm like, for what? And then when I offer, would you like to do, a live video chat? And why we need to do that? Just send me a picture. I'm like, see, something just doesn't work like that for me.
Right. And so if they can't do a live video chat, yes, something's probably wrong. So I'll give you another tip. You need to have 3 to 5 pictures that you can just send guys. Guys are visual.
I mean, no current, like I said, if it's the same, even if it's the same one that I have on the profile, just send them the same picture.
No, you might want to send them another one.
Okay.
If you take a really cute picture, just keep it and keep it in a folder. Picture.
Okay.
Yeah, just send the same guy the same picture. You don't need a different picture for every guy.
Okay. Okay.
Just one picture.
I don't know, because every time they ask, I'm like, what is this about pictures? You saw the picture on the profile, and who's to say that I'm sending you my picture? I've seen so many pictures that weren't even the picture of the person.
Yeah, they're visual. But I mean, I wouldn't get carried away. I wouldn't be sending them any sexy pictures, and I wouldn't be sending them 100 pictures a day if we haven't even met and gone out to dinner, right?
Right. I mean, and I've got one person, and that's what he did. Is like, here's my picture. It's like 10 different pictures. I don't need 10 pictures of you.
Yeah, but that's what they're doing.
Okay. Okay.
That's what they're doing.
I'll keep that in mind.
You can at least send them one. I mean, but you really want to get them. So you need to do some work on getting the conversation off the text onto the phone, understanding what the communication should be, what he's saying, what you're saying. I don't teach you word for word. I teach you how to recognize the patterns and how you feel, how it's flowing and functioning before you really make the decision to go out with him.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Yep. So we'll work on that. Hopefully we get to do some real live work together.
Yeah, that'll be great.
Awesome. Okay. So Karen said, my issue is I notice every little thing. And I'm usually quick to dismiss a man and give up on them on the first red flag. Okay. Karen, can you talk? Can you unmute yourself?
Yes.
Hi, Karen.
Hello.
Hi, where are you connecting in from?
Austin, Texas.
Awesome. So y'all, Texas need to have a discount since a lot of y'all are coming in from Texas. Trinace is from Texas?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. All right, so your problem is that you
my problem is, and I know a lot of it has to do with my past, but my problem is I have a tendency, I notice I watch people, patterns, and habits. So I notice like every little thing. I have pet peeves with the I'll call you back. I try to tell people, don't give me a time frame. Don't say I'm going to call you back when I get out the shower. Because if you don't call me back within an hour, then I'm irritated with you because you didn't call me back right after you got out of the shower. And I think, I don't trust your word after that.
Okay, let's stop right there. Assignment for you. Tell me, question for you, and then if you can't answer, it's an assignment. What was the first time someone broke their time commitment with you? Who did that?
The first time ever in life? Oh, my mother. She used to do it all the time.
What did she do?
She would like send me to my grandmother's house or my godmother's house and say she's gonna come pick me up at a certain time, but she never did. She would always leave me there. And I know a lot of my issues.
Oh, hold on. I'm not asking you what you know.
Okay.
Just take a slow walk with me for a second. Because we do this all the time, and it's why it takes us a long time to heal. How did it make you feel when your mom did that?
Unwanted.
Tell me something else.
Made me feel like I couldn't trust her. I felt abandoned. Terrified, scared. That's basically it.
So this is a good example. Are you crying?
Probably getting ready to.
I heard a little sniffle there. I wish I could hug you. I'm sending you a virtual hug.
Thank you.
Take time to inhale with me. Close your eyes. Inhale deeply. Exhale slowly. 2 more times. Inhale deeply. Exhale slowly. Last time, inhale deeply. Exhale slowly. Doing things like that, you probably notice my voice even slow down. It helps calm you down.
Mm-hmm.
And so what I wanted to ask is, let's just stop on that one thing. Do you see how that one thing is showing up in your adult relationship?
Yeah.
And so because your mom didn't pick you up, your mom, and that's why I say it doesn't always have to be rape or molestation or beating or whatever. It can be like abandonment. Because your mom didn't pick you up and you felt abandoned and lonely, unwanted, and all the things you mentioned. Now, every time a guy does that, or he didn't even do it yet, you're not even going to give him a chance to do it. You know why? Because it's a thing called your automatic defense system start coming up. It's like, it's going up. And he didn't even get a chance to prove himself. You don't even allow him to see if he's going to be honest or not. Because before he gets there, don't even tell me that. So that's what your mom did, showing up in your relationships. And that's a perfect example, and thank you for that, of your blind spots and your ish and who broke your heart.
Yes, I've also, along with that, I've also had a couple of men get married on me.
Mm-hmm.
I have been molested and raped. So on top of that, because of those situations too, I guess that's a defense as well.
Yep, 100%. And honey, you need to do your work, because what I suspect happened when you say guys get married on you, the behavior, so what I didn't get to talk about tonight, but the behavior that gets produced from our ish, our blind spots, our triggers, our broken heart, our love wounds, the pain and the behavior that's impressed on us. Remember, I said your blind spot makes an impression on you in your subconscious. What it does is it shows up in your relationships. So men, yes, you're treating him a certain way. Like you said in your text, you says that you notice every little thing and you're quick to dismiss thing. And if he says he's going to call you back, so you're going to automatically sabotage any chance. Even
Yeah.
You're going to, and that's what we're all doing. And so that's why we keep getting the wrong guy, because we're sabotaging with the good guy and then we're drawing in the bad guy. And so that's what we need to break. So this is a prime example of, I hope you're going to give yourself permission to do some of this work, because like I told you, just in a few seconds, I can tell you where your issue is. And if you got rape and molestation on top of that, that just makes it worse. And so we have to unravel these pieces to really help you get to a healthy place where you can learn to trust again. Because when you're abandoned, you don't trust that people are going to show up for you, because they didn't show up for you. And so now you have to learn how to trust again. This is one of the biggest reasons why we do a trust activity at the retreat, because you have to learn how to open up your heart, be in the present moment, and just learn how to trust again and receive love. You won't even allow him to give you love, because because what's happening is our automatic defense system says, I'm not even going to let you hurt me. We're not even going in that spot.
Yeah.
My husband said something to me not too long ago. He said, you want to let me finish my sentence? Like, I already know what you're going to say. You're not going to hurt me. It's it's an automatic defense. You're blocking it because you're afraid. And you have to get to a place where you can feel your fear and allow him to prove himself anyway.
Okay. Oh, thank you.
Mm-hmm. So I hope you decide to come to the retreat, Karen. If you have not made that decision yet, tell me. And I know for a lot of y'all, it's going to be money, right? That's just what a lot of us say. But I want you all to, and I wish I was there to give you a hug. I want you to give yourself permission to consider coming to the retreat.
Trinace and I actually, we've been talking about it. She's told me about it, and we're trying. To be totally honest, it's finances. I'm in the process of moving a couple of states over, so we'll see.
Yeah. And just, put it out there. When we say I'm going, you'd be surprised how the universe, how God will start to make that happen. You ever say, like you said, I'm moving a couple of states over. That's happening, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
See what I mean? When you want it to happen and you commit to it, it will happen. And so you have to want to come to the retreat and not say maybe, possibly, blah, 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 too much money, whatever, because it's really just all you paying for your own like retreat and vacation, right?
Yeah.
So, like I said, if you do the math on all the activities, you probably say, well, how is she able to do this? And I want to share something. Hold on. I don't usually ever go off camera, but I had to show you the pink bottles of champagne we already have.
It's nice.
Right? So
Nice.
shiny, shiny, shiny. Can't get the light off of it. So yeah, so we already started buying stuff for the welcome gifts and for the baskets, and we're super excited already. So yeah, so okay, so I have somebody else. So yeah, so consider the retreat. It's I think it will help you. If it can't help someone, I will tell you. But you have to unravel and do your work. You really have to be open to doing your work, because the pain that it's going to keep causing you is going to be more expensive, because as we get older, it's going to get harder and harder and harder and harder and harder, because it's harder for us to change, not harder to attract the man.
Yeah, I actually met a new guy, and I did, in fact, meet him online. So far, oh my God, he's wonderful. It's funny. He actually connects with me on a lot of levels that I haven't connected with someone. Yeah, I almost passed him up because he gave me his phone number and wanted to text like immediately while we were online, and I don't do that normally. It took,
That's a good thing.
yeah, because I know a lot of scammers, that's what they do first. And so I took about 4 or 5 days, finally called him private. And funny, his subscription expired while we were on the phone. The site that I was on, if at least one of you have not paid, then you're not able to read the messages, which meant the moment I was on the phone, all of our messages became blocked because, I was being cheap. I wasn't going to pay. And so I teased him, almost made him miss his blessing because I waited so long and wasn't going to call. And he teases me. He was like, no, I did what I was supposed to do.
Right.
You weren't doing what you were supposed to. So, yeah, so I'm trying not to be so quick to walk out on him. Right now it's really, really good. So.
But you still have to do your work, because what happens is when you get comfortable, and even if you get married or get engaged or you're dating, if you don't do your work, what's going to happen is once your mind is relaxed, now your subconscious is going to come in and start sabotage.
Yep.
So what happens is that, one, we attract bad guys, the wrong guy, and then 2, we sabotage with the good guy.
Yep.
So be aware of that. But I thank you so much. I don't know why you can't hear Julie. I don't know why Julie can't hear. Go out and come back in and check yourself. Everyone else can hear me. Thank you for sharing. I hope to see you at the retreat. Just keep it before your keep it in prayer, and it will definitely, it changes people. Women, I think in dating that's come to the retreat, and if they're not getting engaged or married, it's because they're taking it slow or they're not ready or they're enjoying their life. But it's super powerful.
Well, thank you. Yeah.
You're welcome. Thank you for joining, and invite another friend. I always say invite 2 or 3 friends each time.
Definitely will.
All right, so Sharon is saying that she was bullied at school. I want to trust my dad. My dad was very emotionally abusive, and I couldn't trust him, especially when my older one told my dad that I was bullied at school when I was 7. Dad replied, "Well, if the kids picked on her, I'll pick on her as well." He was adversarial towards me. That hurt. Has stayed with me and has distanced our relationship emotionally. And I want to first of all say I'm sorry, Sharon, that you have gone through that. She said you can't come on the phone right now, but she can chat here. I'm very sorry that that has happened to you. Number one, there's a healing that still needs to occur with you. Sometimes you can work it out with the person, and sometimes you have to just work it out with yourself. And so I need to talk to you a little bit deeper about that, but I would definitely encourage you also to journal about it. I don't know how old your dad
Right.
is. Is this Sharon? I want to mute everybody again so folks are not muted. I'm gonna encourage you when at all possible to, if your dad is open to a conversation, I want you to first journal to yourself to see how you're feeling. You seem like you're clear on what happened. Ask him how come he did that or treated you that way. Sounds like your relationship is still not in a healthy place. Could be that your dad has some things to work on himself. But if he's open to a conversation, have the conversation, have it outside of the home, and invite him out for tea, coffee, or lunch, breakfast, or whatever, and tell him how you feel. We had to do that with a lot of the women in my community have to do that. Because sometimes your parents just don't understand how they're making you feel. And see, that goes back to when I say slave mentality. That's a good example of it. Parents, I don't know how old you are, but if you're 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, I can tell you your parents think that you're their property and they can treat you anyway and say anything they want, and you just have to tolerate it, and you don't get a say, and they can do whatever they want and you can't do anything about it. That's the slave mentality that I was talking about earlier. Right? They look at you as their property, not as another human being, not as God's gift to them. Right? Parents are not supposed to be irritating their children according to Bible scriptures. And as a matter of fact, it says, fathers, do not be irritating your children. Right? And so parents don't realize that they have to look at their children not as their property, but as a special gift from God. And they have the job to get this child to adulthood emotionally safe, physically safe, and healthy. And sometimes they miss the mark on that because they're still stuck in the old thinking. So I don't know how old your dad is. I didn't see you type it in there. Try having a conversation. If he's too old, if he's sick, he's 88. He's probably super stuck in his way. It doesn't mean that it's hopeless, but he's probably super stuck in his way. I would still give it a try to see if you can talk to him and see if he's open to a conversation. And you just never know. Now, if he's 88 and he's stuck in his way and he's not going to bend, now you have to shift to a place of compassion, because he is from a generation where he was probably treated like that, right? So the reality is that he was probably trying to teach you how to be tough. Well, if you're going to let the kids bully you, I'm going to bully you. And that was a tactic a lot of people did. Well, if you go to school, you get beat up at school. When you come home, I'm going to beat you up too. That was a tactic some parents and older brothers and sisters did to people, right? And so he was probably trying to teach you to, good night, Nat. He was probably going to try to teach you how to respond or stick up for yourself. So you may want to check in. If he can't change now, you have to switch to compassion, and you have to find a way to heal and do the work on yourself. And again, this is something that we're doing at the retreat, which is why I have Todd Malloy come in. He is a therapist. He has his own practice and he's licensed, and he will be there to be working with some of these type of issues. And his mom, yeah, I figured that. And his mom was emotionally abusive towards him, very masculine. Yep, and he was always anxious. Yeah, and so what we do is we pass that down. It becomes generational, right? It's like sometimes a sexual abuser, if you're abused, is because your parents abuse you and their parents abuse them, and it could be physically, emotionally, sexually. We pass down that, and again, it is like a slave mentality, and it's that old hypnotic kind of, social conditioning, and yeah, I'm not surprised that his parents have abused him as well emotionally, because most abusers abuse unless they get help. Yep. And I understand where you're coming from. That it could be very challenging if you have kids. And I remember when I had my son, because I was sexually molested so much, and I had a boy, and I ended up, as you heard me say, his father abused us. And so my child was born in July, and me and his dad split in August. And it was just me and my son. And I was very afraid of having a son, because I knew the statistics were, if you were abused, you had a high potential of abusing. Back then, that's all they would say. And I would always say, I don't want to rape my kid. I don't want to abuse my kid. I don't want him to think I was afraid to change my son's parents, because I was afraid I could hurt him somehow. And that's always stuck with me. I had to learn, no, I'm not going to hurt my kid. No, I'm not going to be a statistic. Yes, I am going to raise him with love and kindness. I'm going to do my work to make sure I'm healthy, and I'm going to be in that spot. But most people don't do their work. And you can have children. You have to do your work first. All right, ladies. We've been at this for quite some time, longer than we were supposed to be tonight. So I hope that I hope sharing that helped a little bit. I know it didn't solve your problem, but I hope it gave you some insight. I think the next step is a conversation with your dad. And then the next step is to see how you, like you said, you're aware of the abuse he has, realizing that he's sick too. He's just being he's an abuser that's abusing, and he doesn't know any better. And he's not too old to learn, but he may or may not want to, because he's older. Might be stuck in his ways. And so if he is, now you have to shift, and you have to pivot, and you have to heal. And like I said, I'm willing to help you and take that journey with you, whether it's in one of my programs, but preferably at the retreat, because that's where we're going to be doing a lot of deep work this year. And so, ladies, for all of you, if you need to have a session with me to learn more about if the retreat is something for you, shoot me an email, or you should have a link in your email, and I'll make sure there's one with the replay. And if you're ready to book, go ahead. If you don't see a payment plan that suits you, just shoot me an email. If you need 6 payments or 4 payments, or pay every week or every 2 weeks, or whatever you need. We make all kind of arrangements for people, because we know how important it is to just get here. Okay. And I hope you've enjoyed this session. It's been a pleasure. I appreciate you allowing me to teach and pour into you. I just ask that you please share with your friends and just encourage them. I thank those of you who have invited your friends. I'm sure they are so appreciative. They don't understand at first, but once they join, they really get the full understanding of the benefit. And so I try to be authentic. This is my calling. I'm doing the Lord's work, and I just feel that my mission is to really help women connect with God, connect with themselves, and connect with their soulmate. So I truly want to help you attract the healthy love that you deserve, ladies. And I wish you love, and I wish you a good night. All right. Great session, everyone. Yeah. Yep. Part 2 is tomorrow. See you tomorrow. Take care. Bye, everyone.